right, live. It's red. There they are. All right. What's up, everybody? Let's see. Warren. Wow. Warren first in. Okay.
Warren in the house.
Let's go, Warren. We see you. We see you. Manny. Nope. Don't do this, Manny.
Wait a minute.
We don't do this, Manny. There, no matter how hot it is, no matter how tan you get, we don't do this, Manny.
Come on, Manny.
Pass that along to your friends. Tell everybody we don't do this, Manny.
You sound like the San Jose Sharks right now, man.
Man. How's the baby, Warren? How's the baby?
Did you see a quick boxing note? Did you see the WBC Juneteenth belt?
Oh my God, I saw it from you.
Come on, man.
Because I went back after the show. I wanted to see because I saw you post the Jim Lampley video, but we were on the show. I couldn't listen to it.
Right.
I
even more clown behavior when you actually hear it.
Yeah, so I went to your page and then I saw that. I was like,
come on, man.
What are y'all doing? And then I saw the Sharks put out the apology, but they left the graphic up on their website. So they reposted the link and the picture was there again. And they essentially dropped oh, look, our black friend did it. What do you mean? This guy's in our front office. It's okay. Like, Jesus, guys, come on, man. Just don't do it. Don't.
Somebody said
it's good.
So we're all friends here. We can say these things, but somebody was like, I liked it better when you guys didn't know nothing about this.
Yeah, dude, that's facts. That's facts. Black Bottle's in here. What's up, Black Bottles? Let's go. He got the alert.
Speaking of,
oh Lord, what do you got now? What do you got now? Would you get Luke Belair painted on the court? What happened?
No. I did have that cream last night. Oh my goodness, that bamboo cream. Oh.
Yes,
that's a trap. That's like chocolate milk, right? It's like chocolate milk, but there's alcohol in there, and you could just drink that like I'm drinking chocolate milk, and 30 minutes later you could be done.
Post workout, not done. Done. Like, y'all got to get this cream. Y'all got to get that bamboo cream. It is different.
Gosh, that is
different.
Yeah. Good call, Black Bottles. Good call. That's next week with the Luke Miller on the court. Next week.
What's up, Cole? What's up, Cole? We got to do a photo shoot out on that court.
Absolutely. Gotta make that happen.
Doesn't look like our photographer's in here yet, but
look, actually, don't do anything if you're Herm Edwards.
Man, I was about to say
like Herm Edwards.
I was about to say, I saw that. I was like, no, not Herm. Not Herm.
Don't do a damn thing like Herm.
Like, first of all, we ain't doing Herm like this. We will not. Absolutely not.
Oh, we got an updated Kenny's hate list.
Hopefully I can. Don't worry, King Boss. I checked. That won't happen again. I assure you that won't happen again. Oh man, dude, did you put? Hold on, I need to see this closer. Yep, you did. All right, Max. All right, Max. Max earned the first time out of the day, and the show ain't even started. I saw that. Me and Ernie's we following each other, man. They get that blue in there. That's why y'all got to follow us on IG at IMK Diddy.
Man, shout out.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Sometimes you really just wipe it out. I'm the streets voice out last night. There was self-made progress last time that I checked.
Show already in progress here at the top of the hour. We are thrilled that you are here with us on this June 17th edition of D-Lo and KC. I'm Damian Barling. He is Kenny Caraway. We're with you for the next 4 hours. So get comfortable, put your feet up, Turn the air conditioner on. Stay inside if you can. Quick note, public service announcement here from D'Lo and KC. Don't leave your dogs in the car because I will smash your windows out and wait for you to come out of the grocery store. Just leave your dogs at home. They'll be fine. 2, leave your dogs in the house, not outside, not in your hot, musty-ass garage.
Oh, Jesus.
Put the animals in the house. It's like 108 today. Don't be stupid. If it's uncomfortable for you, it's uncomfortable for your animals. Keep them all inside. Can't even go for our afternoon walk today. It's too hot. Can't take the dogs outside. Come on, man.
Guess what I was doing yesterday at 6:30?
Sweating probably, but what?
Painting a fence.
Oh, gosh. I don't imagine that felt good.
No.
Okay.
Why the Queen Bee decided 6:30 was the time to paint this fence, I have no idea.
You that's your payment for that stash of McQueen and the Violet Fog gym behind you.
That's true.
It's like, hey, you want the hookup? You were getting plain bottles. Now you got the artwork bottles. You got the blue bottle. You got the bamboo cream. Go paint the fence, Kenny.
Look, I took 65% of the backyard. I really had no leg to stand on. If she wanted to paint the fence painted, then that's what had to be done.
When the Queen Bee asks, you go paint the fence. It's that
to
simple.
Her defense, she was out there too.
Okay. All right. Well,
but damn it was 6:30.
Well, I'm glad that you were out there painting the fence because if you weren't, you would have been inside watching the Philadelphia 76ers go up big, thinking Philly's got this. It's a lock.
Well, I did watch it. The TV on outside was on. I was watching the game.
Oh, my bad. I forgot. This is my bad. That's me already. Look at air. 2 minutes into the show, I forgot Kenny got the big projection TV movie theater style outside with the surround sound system on the basketball court. That's me. That's my bad. I forgot who I was talking to. Normal people, not all of us.
The TV was on. The pergola TV was on.
Not all of us can have the TV outside. Kenny got the TV outside. That's on me. So you did see.
I only say that to say I didn't miss a damn thing. Oh no, I didn't miss a damn thing. And I saw Philly puffing their chests out, talking all that trash in the first quarter, bouncing, getting technicals. Ben Simmons, dunking on people, chest bumping Gallinari. I saw it all.
Things got tragic after that. It was actually all good until the third quarter. And then, man. And let's start here because one, man, we have been treated to some tremendous basketball. When you look at the last 2 days of starting with Kevin Durant in the Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee Bucks, leading into the fiasco that was yesterday morning with all of the news about Chris Paul and Kawhi Leonard and Stan Van Gundy and all of the stuff that has come out about New Orleans since then and the Dallas Mavericks and all of that, to get those two gems of basketball games last night. We've had a good, 36 some odd hours of being basketball fans, of being NBA fans here. And those two games last night delivered. So let's start with giving kudos to the Atlanta Hawks.
Absolutely.
The Atlanta Hawks played their game. Trae Young was phenomenal as he has been. He maybe for the first time, I mean, I know he's had big games, but maybe for the first time, he legit carried the Atlanta Hawks to a win.
Trae that's a bad boy.
Like he is the reason that they won that game yesterday. John Collins was like Dillo Gallinari hit the dagger, like all of that. They're not taking away from that. Trae Young was the reason that they won that game. So applause to Atlanta. But man, when you're up, what was it, 26 points?
Yeah,
you're going to talk about the team that blew the lead here a little bit. When you've been up within the 18 points the game before, when you've had leads that size in consecutive games and you lose them both, we need to talk.
So let's talk about those leads. And let's talk about a fact here, a record broken, I guess you could say. The 76ers are the only team to blow an 18-point lead in back-to-back playoff games in the last 25 seasons.
Congratulations to Philadelphia.
They had a win probability of 95.5% at one point in game 4, and it reached 99.7% late in the third quarter of game 5.
My goodness. You're doing that thing that I do, by the way, when you have these like weird like accentuations. We're spending too much time together.
Somebody
tweeted us. I think it was my man Chris McQueen tweeted us yesterday. You guys are spending too much time together. When we quote tweeted the Macho Man thing with the same with the same exact caption. So you're starting to do that thing, and rightfully so, because you do that to accentuate your point. And the point is, this was a really tremendous win by Atlanta. A really, really bad loss for Philadelphia.
Hey, man, and I'm just going to say it, like, I'm not going – I hope it doesn't come off as disrespectful to Atlanta, because I'm not just completely kicking to the side the fact that they played, they did what they had to do, and they came back.
Mm-hmm.
But that ain't the first part of this story.
Oh.
That ain't the first part of what happened in this game.
The
Sixers were up 83-58 with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how good Trae Young is. I don't care how good John Collins is. I don't care how good Gallinari is playing, who just is not my guy at all. I don't care. There ain't no way in hell you should lose that game. That game, once again, no disrespect to Atlanta, that game was lost by the Philadelphia 76ers. They choked it away. It's embarrassing. It really is.
Shot clock era began in the 1954-55 seasons. Teams were 5-617.
Come on, man.
When trailing by 18 plus points entering the fourth quarter in the shot clock era. And here's the part that there's multiple layers to this, and we've got 4 hours. We're going to get to all of them. I want to get to Paul George's performance. We're going to continue to praise Atlanta. We're going to talk about the game tonight. We're going to cover everything. But there's multiple aspects to this Philadelphia 76ers thing that we've got to talk about. You mentioned Ben Simmons. I've got some words for another very high paid player in a Philadelphia 76ers uniform, and it's very obvious we're not talking about Joel Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
I hate pointing this out, man. I did this last night on social media. I don't like doing this, but Doc Rivers has been the head coach for five of the 8 largest blown leads in the last 2 postseasons. I don't know, what is it? You tell me. You're a player. You explain this to me. When something is slipping away like this, what do you look at your coach for? Because at some point you've got to go, this can't keep being a coincidence, is it? Like when you're out on the court, you got a big lead and you feel it slipping away. What are you looking for when you go to a timeout? What are you looking for when you go to the sidelines and see your coach?
It's a good question, because I can't remember a time when something like that was happening where maybe this explains why I'm not like that big on, it's the coach's fault. Because I don't ever remember looking at the coach like, hey, do something for
Get us out of this.
Yeah, like this is on us. It was always a mentality that it was on us to figure this out as a collective group. And I don't know what I would be looking for Doc Rivers to show us. To be honest with you, to be completely honest with you, I look at them guys on the court more than anything.
Okay. So do you hold Doc Rivers responsible at all for what happened yesterday?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely, because this continues to happen on his watch,
mm-hmm.
and
but we can't figure out why. Why does this keep happening?
To be honest with you, I think it starts before you get into these situations. It starts before these games. I don't think he holds his players accountable enough. I think he coddles them a little too much. We saw it with the way that he reacted to Ben Simmons forever. You know, he never demanded more out of Ben Simmons. Maybe he never demanded more out of Paul George, because Paul George, sure, he can give more in this playoff series, in this playoffs. So maybe he never demanded more out of him.
Let's continue that conversation. Just a quick public service announcement before I hit this button. We previewed all of these words in advance today.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
All right, it's the Summer of Cash contest. Here's your chance to win $1,000. Text the code word, bottle, to 72881. text the word bottle, as in you need to get to the store and get a bottle of McQueen and the Violet Fog gin. You need to get a bottle of Luke Belair Blue. You need to get a bottle of that Bumbu cream when it becomes available. 72881 is the number. Again, it's 72881. Text the word bottle to 72881. This is a multi-state contest. Message and data rates apply. And remember, don't text and drive.
So real quick, to go back onto your question about what you're looking for out of a coach in those situations, there's not one set thing. The coach, this is what I will say about him. He has to understand, he or she has to understand the moment, understand the team, and understand what's needed at that particular time. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of people in here saying, you know, calming influence, somebody to calm them down. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they don't need that. Sometimes they need a kick in the ass.
Sure.
Right? You come back to that huddle and be like, yo, you guys are messing up right now. Get it together. Sometimes they do need the calming influence. And maybe if things are frantic and all this other stuff, a guy that says, hey, calm down. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to go about it. So as a coach, I feel like you just got to read the situation, because it's not on a sheet, like, you know, when to go for 2 points. It's not on that. It's not like, oh, well, if you just lost a 12-point lead, you yell. But if you lost a 15-point lead, it's not like that. Mm-hmm. This is where you have the value of coaching, and you have the skill of coaching to understand at different times. You just got to feel for that team. You got to feel for that group of players. And you say, this is what we need right now. This is the way we're going to go about it. It seems like a lot of the time Doc goes the wrong way. Whether he's yelling or keeping it calm, that's not what the team needs at the time.
Shout out to our coach, Coach Molly. She coaches volleyball, has for a long time. She said at a timeout, and my team is spiraling, I talk about going back to the basics. She says, control the controllables. It don't feel like Doc is doing that.
Yeah.
Don't feel like Doc is doing that, man. And I hate that, because as I've said before, I'll continue to say, and will continue to be a Doc Rivers fan. You start looking at this stuff and you go, what's happening? And Doc, to me, and there are a lot of people responsible for what happened yesterday. Doc's on the list. Joel Embiid is not. But we got to start.
We'll talk about that. But I will say this. Epiphany alert.
Oh, God.
Epiphany alert.
Oh, God. Okay. Stop. We'll get that programmed into the soundboard, so you never, ever have to do that again. We've got a Kenny Caraway epiphany coming up. We're just getting started. We've got another opportunity for you to win $1,000, as well as D'Lo and Casey continue here on Sacramento's home of real Kings coverage, ESPN 1320. We did Sacramento's home. Why not? See what's wrong with that? We ain't even fluffing pillows for nobody.
Oh boy, Dave is a wild boy, man. He a wild boy. I didn't see that coming. That cracked me the hell up, man.
It's the worst L Kings have took this offseason. And this is a franchise that kept Luke Walton.
Oh, man. That is some funny stuff. He ain't lying, though. He ain't lying. You guys will see. Well, I mean, some of you already see.
You already know. Shoot, you already know. Y'all already know. Nobody paying attention to that stuff over there.
Kid Cotton, I did not play in the NBA. No, sir. Play a little pro-am, but that's about it, man.
Kenny Smith, though?
I lost to Kenny Smith.
I thought you hit the J over him.
I mean, I was balling against him, but we lost the game.
Oh,
we lost. We probably would have won like $5,000, I think.
Oh, I thought you beat him.
No, we lost the game. It's the last season, so they might have 5 seasons.
Kenny hit the shot.
On Prime, man.
Kenny hit the shot, and they canceled it.
Actually, so the Joes never win, and we came close. And we lost like on a Chris Mullin free throw with 3 seconds left. And then the very next episode, the Joes actually won in football. I think that's the only time the Joes won. Pros versus Joes is what we're talking about. It's on Amazon Prime. I found it I don't know, a couple months ago. Showed my son. He had never seen it. So yeah. It's a lot of fun. One of the most fun things I've ever done. That was a great show. I used to love that show. It was awesome to be on there because I was a big fan.
That's why Casey and I are on a mission to discover the ultimate McQueen and the Violet Fog Gin cocktail. Send us your recipes. If you send us your recipes. Oh, send us your recipes. If we think your McQueen and the Violet Fog Gin cocktails are on point, we'll shout you out on our show and social media. Well, that's valuable. A shout out from D-Lo and Casey.
I do want to see these little recipes though, man, because
yeah, I don't have much of a recipe. It's just
gin and juice.
Just put some gin in a cup and run with it.
Gin and juice for me. Gin and almost any juice. I'm not picky. Interesting. Squirt. I don't think I've ever had squirt. Ooh. That could have went just so many different ways. I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. I've never had the drink.
All righty.
It's like the song.
Yes. As a matter of fact, it is. That is Wiz Khalifa's gin. Yep. Most definitely.
Wait, what did John say again? I missed it.
Imagine the movie New York's about to be when they get Zion Williamson this offseason.
Oh my goodness.
I got to tell you what Keyshawn said when we get to that part of the show.
Okay.
Keyshawn was on first. They hosted First Take today. Keyshawn was wilding out. Like, Key, what are you doing? Like, they asked him to name the 5 potential faces of the NBA, like the next generation, basically, of players.
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't have no issue with the players that he picked. There was just caveats to all of them, and I'll tell you what that is.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to hear this.
It's like he.
Shout out Max the Demon. No money bags, by the way. Coach JT, stop, man. Stop.
Y'all see that background?
Stop,
Y'all see that background? You want to get in on the show? You can. Viewer discretion is advised. Twitch.tv/ESPN1320, YouTube.com/ESPN1320.
Like the sophomore class.
We're just going to go ahead and close the chat over here. If you want to get in on the phone lines, you can as well. 916-349-1320. You can connect on social media at D-Lo and KC and at ESPN1320. As we roll along here, legitimately the sophomore class today. Everybody's got them. So I think everybody is like heat goofy right now. It's like 90 degrees already.
That's what it is. It's the heat.
They're all cranky because they got to turn the air conditioner on earlier than they used to. They know it's going to be a really expensive bill in June. So the chat's showing out a little bit, and Atlanta was showing out yesterday, and Philadelphia very much was not. So we got an epiphany. I'm excited to hear about this. We've talked about Doc Rivers. I know we're going to dive into the disaster that was Ben Simmons. And man, this has been a tough playoff stretch for him, but I'm anxious to hear about Kenny Caraway's latest epiphany. These are always fun.
All right, man. So the 76ers, they're blowing this thing up. Especially if they lose. Like if they lose on Friday or they lose a series or whatever, this thing getting all the way blown up. But I feel even if they come back and maybe if they, lose in the Eastern Conference Finals, major moves are still going to be made.
Oh, okay.
Major moves. I feel like Daryl Morey, Doc Rivers, they've seen what I've been saying for a long time. And they're like, this ain't no championship squad, and we're trying to win a championship. So, with that being said, I do believe Ben Simmons will be on the move this summer. I believe that.
If that's the epiphany, I think I agree with your epiphany.
Now, there's more to it.
Oh boy. Okay.
I went to the trade machine.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And believe it or not, Damien, Ben Simmons for Buddy Hield works. Ben Simmons for Buddy and Bagley works. Now, here's where the epiphany came in.
Oh, okay.
If you're Monty McNair, former partner, employee, whatever you want to say, of Daryl Morey, you have that connection. And you want to talk about bringing in an all-star. There you go. I can see a world where Ben Simmons is a Sacramento King next year. And it works out for everybody. Now, here's where it works out for Philadelphia.
Okay.
Because I always got to think about that.
Of course.
Philadelphia, they're going to be saving. I want to make sure I got this right. And look, I'm not a capologist, so I want to send that off first. If there's anybody that wants to, really help Will Z, whatever the case may be, if I got something wrong, I'm not perfect on this one, so help me out. But from what I could deem, Philly they'd be saving $9 million swapping Ben for Buddy in contract next year. So they'd be saving $9 million. They got $15 million from Danny Green that'll be off the books because he's an unrestricted free agent. So at that point, we're talking about $24 million cap space.
Mm-hmm.
They had another. Oh, Mike Scott makes $5 million. He won't be there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be $29 million for them. They got a shooter in Buddy Hield. They can go get a Kyle Lowry with that $29 million. They still got Seth Curry. They can surround shooters around Joel Embiid. And that's before we talk about what they might be able to do with Tobias Harris. Now, here's the deal for everybody in the chat who got something to say. Did I say I want to do this?
I love epiphanies.
Hell no.
So
I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I'm just telling you, all y'all got something to say every time I bring something up. And then, I guess Ben Simmons does need to be traded. I said this a year ago.
Okay.
I'm just telling y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gave y'all James Harden too. James Harden, they need to move on to Rockets. No, that's crazy. Why would they do that? Reports say Houston is looking to trade James Harden. Y'all need to listen to me one of these times because I keep telling y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, I don't know if I would do it. And then that's about it. It would be player for player. When you start talking about picks, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. If I'm on McNair, I'm hanging out that phone real quick. But I'm just telling you, it works financially, Buddy for Ben. That's all I'm going to say. And Monty McNair, you want to talk about getting it's a all-star by name, by fact, because he literally is an all-star. Now, is he an all-star caliber player? I would say no. I'm just telling you. That's all I'm saying. I thought about it and I said, oh my goodness. This actually, I typed it in to make sure it could happen. It could happen. Hey, I'm looking like Drewski right now. Hey.
Some early responses here from the chat on both Twitch and YouTube. KC, do you have heat stroke? A couple of other notes here that we got here. John Bull says, John Bull, real stand-up guy, by the way. KC's bamboo still hasn't worn off.
It might not. I had a good amount.
Frankly, Floyd just posted the LeBron leaving gif, where he picks up his purse. He picks up his purse and leaves. Max the Demon just responded, oh, God, no. And then Frankly Floyd also wrote, yo, cancel KC.
Hey, you guys are getting it twisted. Once again, did I say I want to do this? Y'all should know me by now. No, I ain't trying to do this deal. I'm just telling you what's going on. Ben Simmons is gone out of Philly. I'm telling you that. And I told you last year he should be gone out. And Marshall Harris, our guy, they want to argue with me. All Philly want to get on me. I told y'all last year, get him out of Philly. You don't trade a generational talent like that. Get him the hell out of here while you can sell high. Now the price has gone down a little bit because you didn't sign him to a new contract. And we all know that he's scared to death of any prosperity when it comes to the offensive end. So now the value done gone down. So y'all need to start listening to me. I told you last year to trade Ben Simmons. Nobody wanted to listen. Now he's going to be gone. I'm just telling you, he's going to be on the table. And Monty McNair may be sitting there like, well, this could be our opportunity to get an all-star caliber player. I'd pass, but I'm just saying.
I want to talk so much more. I love your epiphanies, man. They're one of my favorite things in the entire world, as are the phone calls. 916-349-1320. We got my man JR here. JR, what's happening, baby?
Pretty good.
Yeah, JR, your phone connection is still trash, man, but I'm thrilled to hear your voice.
How are you doing today?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, no, JR. It's the thought, JR, it's the thought that counts. Just know I saw your name on the screen and I love you to death, and I'm glad you finally called in after us being on the air since August. But we've got to upgrade your phone or get you in a better cell.
He still has to pay for text messages.
Message and data rates apply. That message is strictly for JR. JR needs to know message and data rates apply. Or if you bought your phone at Walgreens, message and data rates probably apply there as well. So
now let me also say this. This ain't an epiphany, but it's just
remember when you used to run out of minutes? Hey man, I got like 10 peak minutes left, man. What do you want? Like you couldn't have called in 25 minutes when it was 5.
Yeah, it's 6:45. I'll call you in 15 minutes, all right?
Used to have to pay extra to get extended peak minutes.
And then that was like a big thing. Hey man, you can talk to me. I'm good anytime right now. Yeah. I'm good anytime.
$15 a month, and you can start night minutes at 5 p.m. That's back when it was like 50 peak minutes, unlimited night minutes, and you'd get like 10 text messages. You got 10 text messages before message and data rates apply.
Hey, so once again, like I said, I'm just telling you what's going to happen. That's the other thing. I told y'all Kyle Kuzma will be out the way. I'll be like, look, the Kings might look into it. No, you crazy, Casey, you crazy. All of a sudden reports, Kings and Thunder interested in Kyle Kuzma. I'm not saying this is what should happen. I'm telling y'all what's out there. Don't shoot the messenger.
So no one's shooting you. I just want to ask, like, I mean, realistically, you say you wouldn't do it, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand I'm the same guy who said yesterday we overvalue our own players. Let's just go with the easy. Buddy for Ben, right? What is Ben's role here? Because you're not bringing Ben Simmons off the bench. Like, we're not doing that.
I was going to say he'd be a starting 3. He honestly might be able to be your starting 4.
That doesn't score?
Yeah, you preaching to the choir. You preaching to the choir. I'm just telling you, the people that really do like Ben Simmons will try to sell you on his defense.
He's a great defender.
39 last night, and the Hawks scored like 51 points in 15 minutes. But they're gonna sell you on his defense. That's all I'm saying. If I'm Philly, I'm moving on from him because I can get Thibault to do the same thing that Ben Simmons do, and I got Maxey coming off the bench. Seth Curry's cool. I'd be getting Buddy Hield back. I'm not really missing nothing when I get rid of Ben Simmons. I'd move him in a heartbeat. But if you're talking about the Kings, they'll sell you on his defense for a team that was the worst defense in the league.
But he doesn't have
it. That's it. That's literally it. He don't do nothing else.
Everything here starts and ends. Every conversation starts and ends with De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton. That's why when we keep coming up with these trade proposals, we keep coming up with these ideas. We're blowing up the Philadelphia 76ers, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Philadelphia, by the way, isn't the only team we're blowing up today. We're blowing up another one. Stick around. Coming up here on D-Lo and Casey.
Lit.
We're adding another team to squads that we're blowing up. So, but there's no backcourt player to add unless you're adding a role player. If you're adding a bench player, which that's not what we're looking for here in the blow up situations. Like, we're looking for the home run. We're looking for the game changer. I don't think a game changer can be a 1 or a 2 when one of your top priority needs to be Tyrese Halliburton starting every game next year.
So here's the lie. Here's the lie in Ben Simmons. He ain't no damn guard. People get enamored with the fact that he's 6'10" and he can dribble. He ain't no guard. He's a power forward.
But he can't score.
I don't like his game. I'm telling you how he's perceived out there, how Monty McNair may try to look at this thing and be like, hey, you know, we get a guy like Ben Simmons that's an elite defender. We had to improve our defense, and we got an elite defender. I'm just telling you what the talking points would be.
Okay, realistic. Let's go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go, buddy. Let's go, buddy, in a pick.
Hell no, but I'll do it for you.
Let's go, buddy, in next year's pick. Then how about that?
Yeah,
you get to keep Scotty Barnes. You go.
I did some draft homework last night, and I don't know if it's today or when we get the official lottery announcement
next week.
I got a guy I got my eye on.
It's going to be. Oh, really? At like in the 8, 9 area? Oh,
yeah. Because I'm coming to the realization of a lot of stuff. Like, I don't think the pick's going to be moved. I don't think that Bagley and Buddy are going to be moved.
Okay, and you're the same. I just want to. You're the same Kenny Caraway who was depressed for weeks that the San Francisco 49ers were going to select Michael McCorkle-Jones out of the University of Alabama.
Those days.
That was
goodness.
Was that you?
That's definitely me.
Okay, I want to make sure.
Definitely me.
What I'm trying to do here, if we were in a court of law, Your Honor, is establish a pattern of behavior that you get really high on something, and then, like, as we get closer to it, you start settling, going, "Oh, it's not going to happen the way I want it." No, there's Justin Fields, there's Trey Lance. Oh no, it's not going to happen the way I want it. It's going to be Mac Jones. Oh, we've got to make these moves for a home run player. We got to do this. Oh, we're settling in. Like our whole July is kind of on hold because if the Kings move that pick before the 28th, shoot, draft coverage is going to be easy. If they don't, well, we've got obviously we've got to get our Kings Herald crew. We got to get Bryant and Tony and Tim, and we got to get everybody on the line, and Jill, and got to get everybody on the phone and plan our 8-hour draft show, which may or may not be somewhere where you can attend. We've got to work on all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But we thought for so long, Kings aren't. Oh, where are the Kings going to pick? Where are the Kings going to pick? Oh, the Kings aren't even keeping this pick. Now we're just riding out the lottery. Like if the Kings win the lottery and bump up into the top 4, I think we all believe they're going to keep the pick. If not, who knows?
Damien, I don't even know. Like I'm thinking about these things, not an epiphany, just thinking about these things. And just like I told you the other day about standing pat, I don't even know if they trade the pick at 8 or 9.
Okay.
Like it's almost, as I look around the league, it's almost like what for? Is you gonna trade the number 9 pick for Kyle Anderson? For what? You know what I'm saying? Like when I say trade the pick, I'm talking to Siakam. But
we're talking packaging it.
Are people in Toronto talking about? Oh yeah, give us Halliburton and don't, like that's what the price is.
Our people in Toronto have lost their damn mind.
Thank you. So Sabonis, yeah, maybe Miles Turner. Would I trade the 9 pick for Miles Turner? Yeah, maybe, but that's still Miles Turner. Miles Turner ain't no all-star.
Okay, play along with your boy here though. Let's go, buddy. And next year's draft pick.
Okay, I'll play along.
For Ben Simmons. That's it. You say no? Because on the surface now, oh hell, I keep forgetting about Rashawn. Okay, so oh hell. Okay, maybe what do we do with Rashawn in that situation? He's gone. Gone.
I'm gonna play that as if Rashawn is gone. I think he's gonna get paid more than what the Kings can.
So is Damian Jones the starting?
Well, shout out to my guy Jason Jones. We might have Jason on tomorrow. I'm just gonna throw that bat signal.
Hey, knowing our schedule for the next 2 days, let's have Jason on tomorrow. Maybe 3:00 or so. Maybe 3:20. Spend an hour with him. He spoke to Ice Cube yesterday. I'm sure that was fun. We'll talk to him about that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Or maybe he didn't talk to him yesterday. He's talked to him recently.
Yeah. But he wrote an article, in The Athletic, just kind of, it was like a mailbag and questions were asked. And he said, if Rashawn is gone, they probably look to keep Bagley and play him as a center.
Okay.
So that's where the center position would be with Marvin Bagley.
So, okay, I like it. But does that mean I'm not sure? Is Metu the 4?
That's the whole thing. I mean,
because we're not doing the Harrison Barnes back at 4 thing, are we?
I don't.
Because I thought we did that already.
I hope not. So to your point, though,
Shout out to Harrison Barnes, by the way, on the Do Some Mo podcast, available wherever you get podcasts from today.
To your point, though, that's where that's to me, that's where Ben Simmons comes into play. He plays at your 4 on the offensive end, at least, and Harrison still at the 3, Halliburton at the 2, Fox at the 1, Marvin at the 5. Now it's a cluster down there inside because Ben Simmons isn't going on the perimeter or garnering the respect from anybody on the perimeter. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how that works out on the offensive end as far as spacing, but yeah,
would Ben like seriously take this postseason out of your brain, please, if you can. Would Ben Simmons make the Kings better?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know. The only thing to me, and we'll have a question later on that our guy Jesse posed. The only thing he does good to me is play defense. That's literally it. Now I was listening to the Streets of Philadelphia earlier today, and they were even talking about like his assists. They're not like I'm creating this I'm breaking down my guy, dumping off a dime, creating like Trae Young creates for others, right? Trae Young uses his ability to create and get others open. I'm going in the hole. Let me swing this out to the corner. Ben does this thing where he dribbles twice and like back taps it or does a little shovel pass to Seth Curry for a wide open 3. It's not creating anything. Look at some of the assists last night. He's dribbling like 2 times, shovels it to Seth Curry. He hits a 3. Oh, Ben Simmons, what a creator. He's not. He's not that. The only thing he does good to me, in my opinion, is play defense. That's it. But
real quick, since we're shouting people out, I shouted out Harrison Barnes. Shout out to the homie Ken Rudolph, who's in town.
What up, Ken?
Yeah, he brought Malcolm up here, and he's been listening. So Kenny, appreciate you, buddy. Is Ben Simmons the equivalent of like I don't know that this term has been used in basketball before. Is he like Alex Smith? Is he a game manager?
He's worse to me.
He's not like I'm trying to think of.
I know exactly.
Like LaMelo Ball is LaMelo Ball like Patrick Mahomes when it comes to running an offense, and Ben Simmons is more of the. He's worse than Alex Smith because Alex Smith, whenever you bring up game manager,
every now and then he'll check it down. Ben Simmons is somebody just hands the ball off. It ain't even check downs. They're handoffs.
Okay.
But see, look.
But when Steph Curry hits the 3, that's the equivalent of the receiver or the shuffle pass that went a yard forward. Yeah,
running for 70 yards.
That's a 75-yard pass by.
Right. Or he'll do the pass. The what is it? The shovel pass.
The shuffle pass. Yeah.
The one that's behind the line of scrimmage, so it's a pass.
But it's a yard forward. Yeah.
Yeah. So
or the ball moves forward, I should say.
Ball moves forward. So that's exactly what he does every play. But see, once again, and John's our guy, so I'm not coming at his knowledge, but these are the things I'm talking about. Of course, I would rather trade for Thibault. He says on the chat, trading for Thibault is greater than trading for Simmons. Of course. Why the hell would Daryl Morey trade Thibault when he can get $30 million off his book for a guy that's probably worse than Thibault?
But maybe he can't. Maybe he can't get $30 million off his book. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. And this is going to sound crazy. I don't mean no disrespect to Monty McNair if he makes his deal or whatever. Here it comes. You can sucker somebody into taking Ben Simmons. You can absolutely sucker somebody into taking him. You should have done it last year, like I said. You should have suckered somebody into saying, oh, get this young 24-year-old who's a 2-time All-Star and a great defender. You can sucker somebody into Ben Simmons. Just like I say, the Warriors need to sucker somebody into taking Draymond Green right now. The day wouldn't be complete if we didn't somehow work Draymond Green into it. Well, what about that? You're right there. Hey, Draymond for Ben Simmons, straight up. Who gets better? What's your boy's line? Who says no? Who gets better? Philly or Golden State? That's actually not a bad deal. But the problem with that is, if I'm the Warriors, I'm not changing anything. I'm probably taking on more money. Yeah, but you're getting younger. Yeah, but you're probably getting sorrier. Oh, come on. Ben's not. It's really hard to say this the day after, so I'm trying not to be overreactionary. Ben Simmons isn't awful.
He's not awful, but I don't think he's better than Draymond Green. I'll say that.
Wow. Okay.
And I don't think Draymond Green is that good, but I mean, even him who makes a little shovel pass, I even think he makes more passes that like create things than Ben Simmons. I have this rule for like players like Draymond and Rondo and things of that nature. I would really try, if I was the opposing team, to say, look, man, Draymond, Rondo, if you score 35 tonight, I'm gonna just tip my hat. I'm not letting Seth score. I'm not letting Steph score. I'm not letting Clay score.
You might not want to let Seth score either, but we'll get to that in a minute.
I'm not letting Kawhi go off. I'm not letting Rondo, because I know you don't want to shoot. If you score 35 tonight, I will tip my hat. Draymond, if you score 35 tonight, I will tip my hat. I'd play Ben Simmons the same way. I'd never leave Seth. I'd never leave any pass available for him. I'd have that guy guard him one-on-one. Don't leave home. And if he shoots every time, which I know he won't, then I'll just tip my hat.
Jesse, can you look up what's Ben Simmons' career high in points? He's had some decent outings, hasn't he?
I'm sure he has. Probably, if I had to guess, I'd say it's like 25. The crazy thing about Ben Simmons is that during the season, he's averaging like 15 points a game. It's 14.3, 7.2, 6.9. Somehow he's averaging 11 points in this Atlanta Hawks series. He averaged 14.8. Like I said, maybe I don't watch enough Philadelphia 76ers. I don't know how he's getting to 14 points a game in the regular season. I have no idea.
I got to be honest. I don't know how he's getting to 11 points in the postseason either.
I don't either.
He disappears on the offensive end for lengthy stretches. Again, it's tough to spend so much time talking about the 76ers when what the Atlanta Hawks accomplished was so special, but you've got to be getting to the end of your line. I don't know what the process is anymore at this point, but it's got to be coming to a close. We're going to talk about that. We've got to give Paul George some roses, man. The man went out there and he's trying to shed a label from last year. He's trying to shed that non-clutch gene that we thought he had, and we'll talk about that. Simmons went for 42 against Utah.
Damn.
This season. Wow. More of D-Lo and KC coming up here on Sacramento's home for real Kings coverage, ESPN 1320. It's 4,000 degrees outside, which means a chilled beverage this evening is going to serve you quite nicely. Now, for me, my recipe is easy. Cold gin, cold glass, boom. I'm in the game. McQueen and the Violet Fog Gin. That's simple. I want to know about your recipes, though. What do you go to? What do you mix with that McQueen and the Violet Fog Gin? I know KC uses like some strawberry lemonade every once in a while. I'll splash some orange crush out of the soda stream this weekend. I'm going to use a little strawberry crush out of the soda stream. I've seen McQueen and the Violet Fog Gin mixed with some tonic and some strawberries, mixed with some tonic and some blueberries, mixed with some tonic and some lemons. I want to know what you mix your McQueen and the Violet Fog Gin with. And I want you to tag us on social media when you mix up that cocktail tonight, tomorrow, or this weekend at D-Lo and KC on Instagram and at McQueen Violet Fog. This is the best gin in the world. We talk about it the way we do the 55 cases. You've heard that. We don't make much, but what we do make is damn good. You've heard that many, many times. It is the best gin in the world, and we've put everybody up onto it. Go grab your bottle, drizzly.com or whatever your favorite retailer is. Snap that picture. Share your recipe with us. We'll share it with the world because after 500 years, it's time for a new gin. It's time for McQueen and the Violet Fog. ESPN 1320 reminds you, be responsible. Don't drink and drive. Wow.
Wow.
Liar.
Admiration.
12 of 13. Maybe it's the lights.
Leezy talking about the Kings have no defense. Defensive player of the year candidate sure would help in Simmons. All right, man. Look, Ben Simmons probably plays good defense. He definitely does play good defense. All right. I'm not going to take that away from him. Trae Young is averaging 29.6 and 10.8 assists in this series. What the hell is going on? Who is he locking up? Trae Young had 39 last night as they came back from 26 points. Y'all got to stop this, man. Y'all got to stop this. Simmons is cool. He ain't goddamn Kawhi in his prime. He ain't that type of defender. Hell no.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mm-hmm. But the point with that, Jesse, is if I got a guy that's defensive player of the year, what we get on Kawhi and Paul George about when they guarding Luka or not guarding Luka? Like, what the hell are you out there for? And they score. They actually get points. Ben, your only job is to defend at this point, and you're not guarding Trae Young for 48 minutes or 42 minutes. Why are you out there? Tragic.
Oh, man.
I'm not getting on you for this one, Diamond, but Young has too much energy and youth. Ben Simmons is 24 years old. What?
Oh, geez. Well,
Rondo better. Rondo's better.
Smarter.
And
I think Rondo's smarter.
Should we bring the question in?
Yeah, let's do it right after the break. Let's bring it in right after the break. I don't know. I don't know where. Yeah, I don't know where it was scheduled. I don't know where I wrote it in the show, but let's just do it here. It's not like we even go by this stupid sheet that we spend hours on every morning and night.
Nah, hoops to the stop, bro. Like there's look. If you're cool, I'll tell you if you're a scrub. I'll say if you're a scrub, you're a scrub. If you're cool, you're cool. Like it's good. It's good. I'll say if you're a scrub. If you're cool, that means you can play. You can play.
Another opportunity for you to win $1,000 coming up 10 minutes past the hour. We've got you covered. If you want to watch the show, you can. Twitch.tv/ESPN1320 or YouTube.com/ESPN1320. We hope that if you're watching, you hit the thumbs up. We hope that you'll subscribe as well. If you're listening on the Odyssey app, fantastic. It's a great way to listen to D-Lo and KC anywhere in the world, anytime that you please. As a matter of fact, you can use the rewind feature. You could use the podcast feature. It's a great way to listen to D-Lo and KC, especially since you're in the car, you got 1320 playing, man. That's cool. Yeah. But then you get to the store, you don't want to miss all of the Ben Simmons talk. You don't want to miss the other team we're going to blow up here today and get some superstars onto the Sacramento Kings. If they just would have hired us as general managers, we could have fixed this whole thing by now. Drought over. But they have a propensity for making bad decisions. Now, I want to bring a question. Now, you mentioned a note that Jesse had said before the show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, John made a remark here on YouTube where he called Rajon Rondo. He called Ben Simmons the big and tall Rajon Rondo, which made me laugh. But Jesse posed the question, so I feel like we always steal Jesse's thunder. Jesse has a lot of what we talk about is laid out by Jesse. He's our super producer. But you wrote something in the notes that got our attention, and it was Ben Simmons with another comp. What was it?
Yeah, all I asked was what's the difference between Ben Simmons and Lonzo Ball?
And I thought, Jesse. And then I thought, wait a minute. The hell is the difference between Ben Simmons and Lonzo Ball? Lonzo's shorter.
Mm-hmm.
I'd argue Lonzo's a better playmaker.
Look, let's not beat around the bush. I'll tell you the difference. Lonzo's a better basketball player. That's the difference. Lonzo. Okay. I go so far as saying he's way better than Ben Simmons.
Way better. I mean, he's a better shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Is he he's not a better defender.
He's equal.
He's a good defender.
He's possibly equal.
So why does so New Orleans, and we could talk about organizational mismanagement all we want, but New Orleans didn't pick up his option. Meanwhile, Ben Simmons has 100 and God knows what coming his way.
Two general managers that don't know what the hell they're doing, in my opinion.
Well, that's tough to argue with at this point, given the track record. I'm glad you brought that up, by the way. And I don't want to leave this topic completely, but I do want to mention Elton Brand needs to be discussed here as well. Because I know we talk about the process and we talk about all of this stuff. Elton Brand was, in my opinion, the equivalent of hiring Vlade. Elton Brand actually had more experience than Vlade did. 1 year as the general manager of the G League team. That was Elton Brand's experience. And I understand that Elton Brand isn't the chief decision maker anymore. I know that they've got Daryl Morey there and they've got this restructured front office and all of that good stuff. But this whole so-called process is trash.
Garbage.
The process, correct me if I'm wrong, and this isn't just Kenny, this is everybody. Correct me if I'm wrong. The process at this point, it's Ben Simmons or it's Joel Embiid, and it's nothing else. There's nothing else there. Right. There's Markelle Fultz. No, in New Orleans, Noel. No. At this point, Ben Simmons. I don't think so. We're talking all of this ridiculous. Sam Hanke isn't even there. All we're talking about at this point is Joel Embiid and nothing else. And this is a team that's had Jimmy Butler on the roster. This is a team, for whatever freaking reason, had Al Horford on the roster. Like this 76ers team has just walked people through their organization over and over and over again, all to get where? Exactly where we are right now, on the brink of elimination in the second round of the playoffs. Y'all out here talking about, see, now I'm getting hot. Let me calm down a little bit. Some of you out there advocate.
Don't calm down. Give it to him.
Some of y'all advocate for tanking. Get the draft pick. You literally cannot point to a single team that it's worked for, including the Philadelphia 76ers. You're telling me suck, be awful, be god-awful, be at the top of the draft for 3, 4, 5 years in a row. And what do you get out of it? You get Joel Embiid and a bunch of other stuff that doesn't work out, and you perpetually get eliminated in the second round of the playoffs. Explain to me how that is a model for success. Explain to me how the Philadelphia 76ers are in a different spot now than when they were before the process started. How many finals were they making before the process started? They weren't.
None. Not since AI.
They weren't. The process is such a sports media fraud. It's so fraudulent. It's not real. And if you believe that it's real, fine. Acknowledge it is an epic freaking failure. And it has not worked. And we start talking like this when we're really trying to drive home a point. It's a failure, man. It's a failure. And we keep talking about it as if it was the Kings need to tank. They just need to keep losing. Get that best draft pick. Yeah, because it worked for... You can get all the top draft picks if you want. But if you're drafting Markelle Fultz and not Jason Tatum, you're going to lose. If you're drafting Markelle Fultz and not De'Aaron Fox, you're going to lose.
That's facts.
But you got Joel Embiid.
Let me ask you a question here, because Marcus Buckner, he says Ben Simmons was an all-star 3 times.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go on this past all-star, and I'm gonna talk about some of the snubs. Now, some of them might have got in because of COVID or whatever the case may be. But let me ask you this. Let's just go in the East. Trae Young didn't make the all-star team. Is Trae Young better than Ben Simmons?
Yes.
Bam Adebayo, is he better than Ben Simmons?
Yes.
Let's see. Is Chris Middleton better than Ben Simmons?
Yeah, I think so.
I agree. I think he
so.
is. Is Fred VanVleet better than Ben Simmons?
I like Fred VanVleet, but I don't know.
I think
I'll push on that. That's fine. I'll give you that one. I don't.
No.
I'm not going to fight over that one.
No,
I feel like some of the names that you've said are definitive,
Mhm.
and I don't think any of these are reactionary either.
Well, and that's just in the East. I mean, the West was even more ridiculous. They had guys like Devin Booker who didn't make it. Brandon Ingram, De'Aaron Fox is better than Ben Simmons. I have no problem saying that. I don't know what these people are looking at when they put Ben Simmons on the All-Star team. And I want to be really careful, Damian, because I do take it seriously. Just me personally. I know I got a job to do and say things how I see it. But I've never seen a bad article about Ben Simmons. I've never heard a bad story about him. He seems to be a good guy. And I know I'm coming on here and this is just how I feel about it, so I got to say it. And it sounds like I'm treating him like he's a bad player or a bad person. It's not how I feel. If I met Ben Simmons today, I'd dap him up. It'd be all good. If he wanted to know why I would say it in respect. I don't have no problem with Ben Simmons, but it just is what it is. And I don't know how these people are looking at him selecting this all-star team and saying, yo, we got to have Ben Simmons on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't know what he does. What does he do good? He defends. That's it. Tony Allen need to be on the all-star team? Tony Allen need to make $30 million a year? No. It's ridiculous.
Listen to D'Lo and Casey on ESPN 1320 KIFM West Sacramento, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento and Odyssey Station, and driven by Lashers, Elk Grove Dodge, twitch.tv/ESPN 1320, youtube.com/ESPN 1320, the Odyssey app, and your next opportunity to win $1,000 coming up 10 minutes past the hour. That's just about 12 minutes from right now. With all that said, I think Ben Simmons would improve the Sacramento Kings. Let me give you another hypothetical here.
Okay.
So in the Ben Simmons deal, we lose Buddy Hield in a future first rounder. Mm-hmm. You don't like that, and I understand, but you got to play along with me here. Mm-hmm. And let's say we've already established we're losing Rashawn. Work out a separate deal. Okay, how about this one? Ooh. Okay, how about this one? Marvin Bagley and a second round pick or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But Marvin Bagley's the core piece. And you work out a deal that gets Miles Turner. Mm. So now you've got De'Aaron Tyrese, Ben Simmons, Harrison Barnes, and Miles Turner. Mm-hmm. Postseason streak broken? Is this as solid? Is this as rock solid as your Dwayne Dedman tweet from several years ago that David dug up? Is it as rock solid as that? I love the idea of adding Miles Turner somehow this offseason. I absolutely love it, but not as the big acquisition, just as like an acquisition.
Yeah. You know what the big hang up is? The big why I pause is because of Ben Simmons.
You don't want it. You don't want Ben Simmons in a Kings uniform.
I'm not interested. Maybe that sounds a little better. Maybe that sounds a little nicer. I'm just not interested.
Is it like you just don't like him as the player? Or like if he wasn't making $30 million, would that change your mind? If he was making Buddy's money dollar for dollar, would that change your mind?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm looking. You can't even play him. He got pulled yesterday. Remember, Doc talked about that.
Well, you don't know basketball. You don't know basketball. Yeah, he did.
You can't play this guy. You can't play, like, you cannot play him in the fourth quarter. You can't play him. They started to hack a bin in the second quarter.
He was 4 of 14.
Did we read the stat? No, we didn't read it on air.
The Steve Nash stat.
Who missed it? Who missed it on Twitter? Please tell these people the numbers.
You should be following ESPN 1320 on Twitter. Unless I blocked you. Steve Nash played in 120 playoff games in his career. He missed 44 free throws. He was 396 for 440, or 396 of 440. Ben Simmons has played in 10 playoff games this postseason. He's missed 45 free throws. So Steve Nash shot 440 and missed 44. Ben Simmons has shot 67 and missed 45.
Come on, man. What was
I
he last night?
wonder what their dollar for dollar career earnings looks like. Steve Nash versus Ben Simmons. He was 4 of 14.
4 of 14. What was that? That was I'm trying to pull it up right here, but that's got to be below 30% on the
I
night.
ain't doing math. Yeah, I don't do math on this show. You kidding me?
I got you.
No, I don't pay you do math. I'm gonna go to the phone lines.
Let's go to the phone.
916-349-1320. I think we got a high school classmate in here for you. Ryan, what's good, man?
Dang, KC.
Hey, Ryan, what's up, big Ryan Royster in the house, man? What's good, man? Can't even stand up.
What's up? You can't stand up one time. Dame, I was just listening to your soliloquy on anti-tanking. And I just wanted to get clarification. So you felt that tanking specifically didn't work for the Sixers? Because I think the tanking worked, and then the randomness of the draft or normal GM mistakes are what put them in the position they are. But the tanking put them in position to get and add them and make the correct decisions, but then they just didn't do them. They didn't execute.
So I see what you're saying, but
I get what
your incompetence. If you win and you're competent, you'll get good players.
Agreed.
And I think what you said, I completely understand what you said there, Ryan. And I think my response would be is if you're drafting at 12, a la the Sacramento Kings last year, you could hit on your pick. Hopefully, if the Kings wind up, if they keep their pick this year and they're drafting at 8, or if we get lucky and they're drafting 1, 2, 3, or 4, they draft the right guy. It's all about drafting the right guy. You can draft Markelle Fultz and be wrong when Jason Tatum is out there. You can be wrong. And when you, in my estimation, Ryan, when you sacrifice seasons the way that the Philadelphia 76ers did and essentially publicly acknowledged it, you can't miss. You have to get them right. Now, you referenced some other just GM mistakes, the Jimmy Butler stuff, the Al Horford stuff, the Tobias Harris stuff. Yeah, that has nothing to do with tanking. That has to do with just things that didn't work out. But I'd argue, I guess your point is completely valid. I guess I would just argue if you put yourself in that position on purpose, you better not miss.
That's facts. That's
I
facts.
just think that losing without intention is probably the worst thing you could do.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Ryan, before you go, is he still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just lose it with no plan. I think that might be more ineffective or toxic to your future than tanking with intention and trying to have a plan about it.
I'm gonna answer Ryan's question. I want to get him before he moves. Ryan, you gotta get D'Lo and KC in the kitchen, bro. Come on, man, stop playing.
Oh, it's time.
Come on, man. Damien, this is a cook right here, man. This is a cook. We D'Lo and KC, we got to get in the kitchen, man. Come on, man.
All right, I got y'all.
All right.
I love it. We appreciate you, Ryan, man. Get in here more often.
To his point, though, I think I disagree, and I'm not. I think he sees it the same way. But if you're going for the 8th seed and you continue to go, and if you just lose and miss because you're not good enough, I don't think that's a bad thing, so to speak. It's bad that you're not succeeding, but it's not toxic like you were saying. You just got to get better.
So let me ask this. Is it bad? I mean, we kind of applauded, and I don't want to put this solely on Luke because I truthfully don't remember everything Monty said, but I remember Monty saying, we've got to get to the playoffs. We've got to get to the playoffs. I think Luke can be the guy who gets us to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he mentioned play-in or postseason or any differential between the two, but I know Luke did because I remember Luke saying, if the play-in is around, we got to make sure we get to it. Is it wrong? And I understand it's been 15 years. Mm-hmm. You take what you can get. Mm-hmm. If you're starving and somebody throws you a breadcrumb, you eat the breadcrumb. Mm-hmm. But is it wrong to shoot for the 9-10 spot? Is it wrong to go into the season going? Because, Ryan was just talking about there, trying to get to the 8th seed and failing is more toxic than, failing with intent.
Mm-hmm.
But are you failing and shooting for the 8th seed or the 9th seed or the 10th seed? I know you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. I definitely know. And to me, it's a lot of semantics when not you specifically are playing.
No, probably
people are playing.
Probably
me
specifically.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think Luke Walton, Monty McNair, Kenny Caraway, Damian Barling, we want to win an NBA championship, right? We're going into every game. Well, we're not playing, but they're going into every game trying to win every game. They're trying to go 82-0, right? So when you say, "Oh man, our goal is to get in the play-in situation," it's not saying that you're like, "Well, it's okay if we, lose 41 games as long as." No, we're trying to win every game.
And you're right. It's semantics, but for me, you go out there and say we're trying to win. The goal is to win, because what's going to happen, or knock on wood, what we hope happens is the Kings go out there and start the season, and this isn't that far-fetched given we saw something like it last year. What if the Kings start the season, 8-2 next year?
Mm-hmm.
We ain't talking about the play-in anymore.
Mm-hmm.
10 games into an 82-game season, your mentality about what the season should be shifts. I just criticized Matt Nagy yesterday in the 10 seconds that we talked about anything other than the fiasco that was NBA Twitter. I criticized Matt Nagy for going out there and saying Andy Dalton is the starting quarterback. Right now, it was June 16th yesterday. You're telling me Andy Dalton is the starting quarterback and there's nothing Justin Fields can do to take that spot. To me, that's poor management, because what are you giving Justin Fields to work for?
Mm-hmm.
Why go out there and say, well, the idea is to get to the play-in. The idea, we're going to go try to grab that 8 seed. No, we're going to go out there and try to win games. And yes, you're 100% right. I'm playing with words. It's semantics, but I do believe the messaging is different. We're trying to win. We're trying to win. If Adrian Wojnarowski, Jesus Christ.
Oh boy.
Adrian Wojnarowski just tweeted, Rick Carlisle is out.
Oh, Dallas is burning.
Rick Carlisle informed Mavericks owner Mark Cuban today that he won't be returning as head coach next season.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Wow.
You the girl on the swing again, and it's all blowing up behind you.
Wow.
Wow. What a 48 hours it has been. Rick Carlisle out as the Dallas Mavericks head coach. Luke Walton still gainfully employed.
Well,
Sorry,
okay. I do want to say something right now.
Go ahead.
I do want to say this. This is going to
come on with it.
You can't do it without putting the history into it.
Come on with it.
Let's talk about this week. What's a bigger mess, Sacramento or Dallas?
Whoa, Dallas. Dallas. However,
Dallas looks like a complete mess.
Why don't you just name the dude who wrote the Athletic article the general manager at this point? Name him the coach.
Bruh.
Oh, God. Rick Carlisle's got a statement, and for some reason, Woj transcribed it on the Notes app. After a number of in-person conversations with Mark Cuban over the last week, today I informed him that I will not be returning as head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. This was solely my decision. My family and I have had an amazing 13-year experience working with great people in a great city. It has been an honor to work alongside Mark, Sint, Donnie, Finn, Keith, Dirk, Jay Kidd, and every player and assistant coach I've had here. Dallas will always be home, but Dallas will always be home, but I'm excited about the next chapter of my coaching career. Monty. Do it. Do it. Do it. You don't like Rick Carlisle either? Hold on. Think about it. Just think about it. Oh, God. That text was right. That text was right. Text was 100% right. Rick Cool is the kiss of death. It is the absolute kiss of death.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes
right. Every time I hit that music, Kenny dances. Best believe he gets his Shane O'Mac on. It's time for the Summer of Cash contest. Here's your chance to win $1,000. Text the code word RUN. RUN. Text the code word RUN to 72881. That's RUN, as in the Sacramento Kings should run to hire Rick Carlisle. 72881. This is a multi-state contest that includes Texas. Message and data rates apply. And remember, don't text and drive. Woo!
I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I think you and other people feel it's not right or wrong. I'm not trying to disparage anybody. You guys feel a little differently about coaches and their impact more than I do.
You hate coaches. Just say it. Just say it.
Rick Carlisle, before he got Luka, he missed the playoffs 3 straight years. Like if you want, this goes to what I always say, if you don't have the players, it don't matter. He got Luka and missed the playoffs his first year. If you don't have the horses, it don't matter. So
you don't think Rick Carlisle? I just state loudly and clearly, you don't think Rick Carlisle is a good coach?
No, he's a good coach.
Oh,
David said when my voice gets in a high tone, that's another time. No, that's in my head.
He's cool.
Rick Carlisle's a good coach.
Okay.
Rick Carlisle's a good coach.
Would you want Rick Carlisle to go? Would you take Rick Carlisle over Luke Walton?
Sure.
You know what's worse than cool? Sure.
Well, look, because I don't want to say it don't matter. Let me take that. Let me not go that far. But if you don't have the horses, it don't matter. Rick Carlisle missed the playoffs 3 straight years.
Adrian Wojnarowski,
like 25 wins.
Adrian Wojnarowski tweeted, Rick Carlisle suddenly becomes a prominent candidate in a head coaching marketplace that includes 6 current openings and maybe more to come.
Oh, he knows something we don't know. They'll be speaking around the microphone.
I'm begging for the tweet that says Luke Walton suddenly becomes a coaching candidate in a marketplace that now has 7 vacancies. That's terrible. I don't mean to wish that upon Luke at all. I think Rick Carlisle is a good coach. Stan Van Gundy was a good coach once upon a time, but that's a hard pass for me. Terry Stotts is a great coach. I don't know what he could do with this roster, but news is breaking at the moment. We'll come back. We'll talk more about this, and we'll have another opportunity for you to win $1,000 as D'Lo and Casey. At some point, we'll get to the fact that the Clippers went up 3-2 on the Utah Jazz last night.
George.
And Donovan Mitchell's comments post-game are really, really concerning for game number 6. We've got that coming up as D'Lo and Casey roll along here on Sacramento's home for real Kings coverage, ESPN 1320. Oh, man.
Is Rick Carlisle the Drew Brees of NBA coaches?
Oh, man. Not bad. One title. Proverbial pass. Yeah, not bad. Hey, tell Big Al and Sam we'll get them right after the break.
I
think so. So, man, Pop and Spo, who's third now? In terms of, because if I remember correctly, Pop, Spo, like Doc was up there, but he changed teams in terms of longest tenured coaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kerr.
Is Kerr up there too? Wow.
Been there 6 years.
Brad was up there.
Well, no, it feels longer, Jesse, but he's only there 6 years. Because yesterday, 6 years ago, is when the Warriors won their championship. There's not a lot of people still out there.
Greg Popovich, Eric Spoelstra. Yeah, they're all gone. Yeah, because it's Pop. Now it's Greg Popovich, Eric Spoelstra, Rick Carlisle gone, Terry Stotts gone, Brad Stevens gone, and then it's Steve Kerr, and then next is Quinn Snyder. He was hired in June 2014, and then Michael Malone, who was hired in June of 2015.
Wow. Steven, my guy. Look, hey, I'm gonna say this. Where'd it go? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna keep on saying it. I really don't care what you do with Luke Walton. You want to fire him, you can fire him. But y'all need to stop acting like Rick Carlisle is goddamn is goddamn John Wooden.
I almost vomited. I almost threw up.
Well, so look.
Shoot, there are 6 vacancies right now.
You want to talk about playing with the words. He's only been here 2 years. You talk about 10th longest tenured coach. You acting like you've been here 6 years. You've been here 2 years.
It just shows how quick of a turnover there is. Like Lloyd Pierce was on here. Lloyd Pierce is gone. Mike Budenholzer. Well, Budenholzer's 2 years also. No,
you're still
here.
We're here. You're here.
No, I see you. I see the 1320 control room.
Oh, God.
As long as we're still on the air.
Yeah, Warren, if you're still in here, it ain't here yet, bro. I think you got a couple of weeks before it gets here.
Oh man, that's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some tonight though.
Yeah, I'm gonna have. Well, hey, Warren. Here's what we'll do. We'll have some, and then we'll text you about it. And then that's jacked up. I'm sorry, Warren. That's jacked up. Okay. All right. We'll see what happens. Oh yeah. Now you're off the stream. Maybe we'll. Yeah. Tell them to call back. Tell them what's wrong, and tell them give us 10 minutes, and we'll get them both on. Because I just don't want it to fall silent on the stream. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. Pay no attention to the gossip column in The Athletic from a couple of days ago.
Total beep.
It is purely coincidental that the general manager who had been there for like 24 years is gone, or whatever Donnie Nelson's position was. I don't know. It was the actual general manager, but whatever his position was. Pay no attention to the fact that Rick Carlisle, after 13 seasons with 2 years left on his contract, apparently has voluntarily just left the Dallas Mavericks. Now, what happens when you voluntarily leave? Can he take another job? I know that Adrian Wojnarowski just tweeted he's now a prominent candidate in other markets, but can you just go, I'm out? Like, does Mark Cuban have to sign off on this? Because it's different than, Scotty.
Right?
Yeah, I guess you can. So he has 2 years left on his contract. So I guess when you quit, those 2 years are gone. Like it's just a contract. But I feel like there's got to be
like signing up for unemployment. You quit, you can't get unemployment.
Well, there you go. Can we get Jazz in here as an expert of this? Can Jazz
Bobby Marks of unemployment?
Can we get Jazz? What is it, 510 or whatever it is, to explain Rick Carlisle's unemployment status here? I guess Luka Doncic is picking the next head coach. Tim McMahon tweeted, Luka Doncic is a strong supporter of Mavs assistant coach Jamal Mosley. He's got the things that are needed for a head coach. Luka Doncic said he can be the head coach for sure. Again, it is worth noting that in his statement, his being Rick Carlisle's statement, he thanked a lot of people. Luka was not one of them. And the relationship between Luka Doncic and Rick Carlisle, again, has been written about in great detail. What's my man's name? Is it Tim Cotto? Is that who wrote the article for? He's not someone I'm super familiar. It is. It's Tim Cotto. Tim Cotto is sitting here like, He's like, He-Man, I am the master of the universe. Good for him.
Yeah. Well, look, hey, maybe Luka and all these guys are right. That wanted Carlisle like maybe he had gone as far as he can go with those guys. I'm still like I'm not gonna be two-faced about the situation. Luka's a talent, and as long as you got the talent, you got a chance. You know what I'm saying? The coach could be moved in and out. That's really how I feel. The coach can be moved in and out. He plays a role, but the talent is a bigger deal than the coach. So as long as Luka, I'll put it to you like this: if I'm Dallas, and this is what Luka needed to feel good about being here and making, let's smooth out the waters. All right, Coach Carlisle, you got to go.
Jazz says he has to provide a compelling reason for the quit and show that there was a reasonable attempt to preserve his job to be eligible for unemployment. So, Rick Carlisle.
The Bobby Marks of EDD.
Appreciate you, Jazzy. That's good stuff right there. You're not going to get this coverage anywhere else. Dilo and KC, ESPN 1320. Okay. All right. Straighten up, class. I'm dead serious. Twitch, YouTube, Odyssey app. Appreciate y'all being with us. Another opportunity to win $1,000 coming up 10 minutes past the 2:00 hour. We were talking to James Ham this week. We were talking to James Ham last week. And James Ham will return to his weekly visits with us next week. And he was talking, we got into a discussion about DeMarcus Cousins, and he was telling us about DeMarcus's time and how crazy it was when he broke the story about finding out that the Kings were going to offer DeMarcus Cousins the Supermax extension, and he was going to be a Sacramento King for a very, very long time with a very expensive price tag. The Kings changed their mind. Okay. It was about a month ago, less than a month ago. Monty McNair told James Ham, a source told James Ham, Luke Walton is going to be back as the head coach of the Sacramento Kings. It wouldn't be the first time someone in the Kings told James Ham something and then changed their mind. Is it fair or foul for the Sacramento Kings to revisit the Luke Walton situation with guys like Rick Carlisle now readily available, Terry Stotts, with really good coaching candidates, in addition to the Sam Cassells, in addition to the Adokus and the other guys that are out there, in addition to those guys? Is it fair for the Kings to revisit this situation?
It's fair.
Is it smart for the Kings to revisit this situation?
It's smart. You got to ask the question, but I would also say this. Nobody thought Brad Stevens would be available or, fired or anything like that. So there's it's like,
well, he's not available and he wasn't fired.
This is true.
I get your point, but I just want to.
I don't even know if anybody saw Rick Carlisle, although I don't know. Like I said,
I didn't.
I didn't. I didn't see it. I'm not going to proclaim that I saw it, but it's like, is it the most surprising thing in the world?
Fair enough. Not stunning, especially given the.
To me, it'd be stunning if Coach Spo got fired. You know what I'm saying? Walked away. That's like, oh, whoa, why?
Second longest tenured coach in the league, by the way. The list now goes, I don't want to detract from your point. I just wanted to point this out. The list goes Greg Popovich, Eric Spoelstra, and then Steve Kerr, and then Quinn Snyder and Mike Malone. Those are the 5 longest tenured coaches in the NBA.
Well,
Michael Malone was hired in 2015, as everyone listening to this is aware of.
Good for Mike Malone. But
I hate the way you said that, but go ahead.
I like Mike Malone. I like Mike Malone. He's a good coach. I would also look at it a little bit of malpractice.
Oh dear, haven't had that happen in a while.
If Monty and the Kings front office didn't play out this particular scenario before they decided to bring Luke.
Okay. I'm with you. Do you want to elaborate a little bit further?
Yeah, so I'm just saying,
exactly what you mean.
If they're in the war room or the meeting room or whatever, they're like, all right, we want to bring Luke back. All right. What if somebody that we think right now privately, we think is a better coach becomes available? Are you still okay with that? Do you want to wait? Do you want to see what's going on? And if they felt, all right, well, let's see how things play out, they would have waited. But if you were like, nah, this is the direction we're going to go, You'd be like, all right, you know that scenario might happen and you're still willing to go?
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. Now you can think about it. Plans change, feelings change. I get all that all the time. But I would be disappointed if something like the last week and a half, 2 weeks caught them completely off guard. We'd be in big trouble regardless of who they thought the coach should be if something like this caught them off guard where these kind of coaching candidates are available.
Okay, how about a different war room meeting?
Mhm.
Hey, who here's got a good relationship with Rick? Who here's got a good relationship with Terry? Who here's got it? Because maybe you didn't plan on going through this process, but do you put feelers out like, hey, would Rick be interested in coaching the Sacramento Kings? Would Terry be interested in coaching the Sacramento Kings? With a prime, like a what I think would have to be considered a prime candidate to land a job. You can include first-time head coaches in that same as well. Do you put feelers out there and go, would these guys have a legitimate interest in coaching the Sacramento Kings? Should that be available? Like, do you put those feelers out there? And then if the feelers come back warm, you make the move.
I mean,
because I don't think you want to make the move and be caught flat-footed going, ain't nobody want to go there.
Right. That's definitely what you don't want. I said it on the break. I've said it months ago. I'll continue to say it. I'm really not beholden to Luke Walton. If they felt like it was time to move on from him, if they thought, hey, there's a better guy out there that could help us right now, then by all means, do what you have to do. But you do everything you do is to get into the postseason playoffs next season. So if you bring in Rick Carlisle, there ain't no filling out period.
Yep.
If he don't make it next year, he failed early in his tenure. I'm sure you have like a 3-year deal or whatever, but he failed. The expectations don't get lowered because somebody's in their first year, and the expectations aren't lowered for Luke Walton. For me personally, I think you feel the same way. Like, it's all about win now, period. So however Monty sees that fit, I'll just ride with it, to be honest with you, when it comes to the coaching. You know what I'm saying? Because whoever it is, they got to get it done like yesterday.
Yeah, Benjamin, welcome to Sports Talk Radio. Why are you talking about a Kings job that's not available? Total disrespect to the person who currently holds that position. Just saying. Again, Benjamin, welcome to Sports Talk. Welcome to the sports media. We're so happy that you're here. Obviously, Benjamin, we've seen you here in the chat before. Apparently, this is your first time ever listening to Sports Talk. But Benjamin, we love you, man. We are thrilled that you are here with us.
Well, let me ask you this one though, Damian. If that were to happen, what's the difference? And what's the difference between anything that's happened the last 3-4 times they've changed coaches, which everybody's had such a huge problem with? They ain't going to interview nobody. They got a candidate that they already want in mind, and they're just going out and getting them. And people have had a major problem with that.
I think a couple of things. One, we're going with the idea that they put a filler out there for Rick Carlisle, and they're only talking to Rick Carlisle. Correct. In this situation. Well, you're right in the semantics of it, but Rick greater than Luke. You know what I mean? Like if you told me back, however, 2 years ago when Luke Walton was hired, and Vlade goes, yeah, no, I don't need to interview anybody. Rick Carlisle is available. I'm hiring him. Okay, all right. Brad Stevens is available. I'm hiring him. Great coach A, because people will pick apart any name you say. Great coach A, great coaching prospect A. They're available. We're hiring them. That's the guy that's I zeroed in on. That's the guy I want. Guy has championship pedigree, has playoff pedigree, the whole deal. Oh, okay. His guy was Luke Walton. His guy was a guy who hadn't won 40 games in the league yet. His guy was still an extremely young head coach in the league. And you felt like you didn't even need to interview anybody. That's my issue. My issue was less that they didn't interview anybody and more who they didn't interview anybody for.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
I got you. Makes perfect sense.
We're 90 minutes into the show, and we've barely mentioned Paul George and the Los Angeles Clippers. By the way, we should point this out as we keep all things Kings here. I don't think we're getting Paul George here.
No, sir.
I don't think we're going to be able to blow up the Los Angeles Clippers as we thought we might be able to.
No, sir.
Paul George looked like a definitive leader last night.
I just want to ask the question because I need to start keeping tabs on this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What was when I really don't remember. You can help me out. What was the temperature when I proposed Paul George coming here? Like when they were down 0-2 to Dallas. I was like, well, they might be blowing up. We need to try to make a move for Paul George. What was the temperature? Were people?
It wasn't Ben Simmons.
or-
No, I think people were in it. I think if I remember correctly, it was we ain't gonna be able to get him. If I remember correctly, that was like the most prominent. That ain't gonna happen. They ain't gonna move on from him. Even if they lost Kawhi, which we've gotten. Anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, please, or hit me to what you've seen. I don't think we've gotten any sort of update on Kawhi. And
No.
I had read, I think Ramona Shelburne, friend of the show, of course, had tweeted something that they were waiting for more images, or they wanted to look at more images to get a more definitive look on his knee. We had Law Murray, who covers the Clippers with the Athletics, tell us they were very confident that it wasn't a tear. It's obviously an ACL injury, but they're confident it's not a tear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know that he's been officially ruled out for Game 6. I think he was ruled out indefinitely, but I don't know if that means we go game to game. I don't really know what that means.
Right.
But if I remember correctly, it was, I don't think that's going to happen in terms of the Paul George proposition. And now we can say definitively, that ain't going to happen. Paul George was pretty damn good last night. He did. We so much talk about. It's the second round of the playoffs, and in consecutive days, we've been talking about legacy games. And unlike Kevin Durant, I feel like Paul George needs to have a legacy. It's not a legacy game, really. He's got to have a legacy finish to this series. Like if he can get them past Utah into the conference finals with Kawhi out, man, all the pandemic P jokes, all of the missed buzzer, all of that stuff, I think goes away pretty quickly.
Yeah, I agree. And like we mentioned yesterday, I don't even think, it's a different bar for him. It's not get to the finals without Kawhi. It's not, if you can win this series, all that stuff needs to go away. I tweeted it last night. I said the pandemic P thing needs to go away now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even if he were to lose the next 2 games and lose the series, Paul George, this playoffs, 25.9 points per game, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, come on, man. This dude is cooking.
Yep.
He's playing some damn good ball. And I'm not saying to call him playoff P. I ain't saying that. But you sure as hell can't call him pandemic P no more.
No,
the way he's been playing in this playoffs and in Game 5 yesterday. What a performance. What do you have, 38? 37?
37.
37.
12 of 22.
Man, come on now. When they needed it most.
And you'll really love this. He was 10 of 11 from the foul line.
That's what the hell I'm talking about.
Good call by Andrew right here. By the way, speaking of good calls, if you want to get in on the phone lines, we had a little hiccup earlier. You could get in now. We've got you 916-349-1320. Get in on those phone lines. Have these conversations. 916-349-1320. Another chance for you to win $1,000 coming up 10 minutes past the 2:00 hour. Andrew says Paul George has an excellent opportunity to rewrite the narrative on his career, man. And that's facts. And I think I had read yesterday, he had said to Ty Lue at shoot around, like, I got this. And you heard something similar from Kevin Durant to Steve Nash the night before. And it's like that's a superstar stepping up in a superstar moment.
Yeah.
And Paul George, I don't think is often referenced as a superstar. And he's that, this is a guy we were talking about not that long ago being one of, along with his teammate, as the best two-way players in the entire league.
Yes, 100%. Flowers need to be given out to other Clippers. Reggie Jackson had some huge buckets in the fourth quarter yesterday. He finished with 22. Marcus Morris, another big game for him, man. 25 on the night. He did some big things. Terrence Mann with the big throwdown on Rudy Gobert, has some big buckets as well. And I want to say this from my man Cole. I haven't seen Cole in here. I don't know if he's listening.
He's here.
Pat Bev had some good moments last night, made some really good plays, hit a big three. I think it was in the fourth quarter to kind of stem the tide a little bit. He did what he was supposed to do. Now, Pat Bev only played 17 minutes. Terrence Mann played 26. That's all I'm ever saying is Terrence. There ain't no way Pat Bev should be playing over Terrence Mann. He wasn't last night. He played over Rondo, which I thought might have been a failure. But, Pat Bev had some really good minutes last night. And Coach Ty Lue, got to give him some credit.
Wow.
Got to give him some credit. One thing.
You want to talk about that Terrence Mann dunk?
Oh, that was nasty.
Oh, my God.
That was nasty on Rudy, the young fella. Oh, that was nasty. He ain't have to do him like that. But one thing I will say about Ty Lue is, and I mentioned it before, I feel like Ty Lue, one of his strengths, one of the things he does really good is he makes adjustments. He reads things as the series goes along. You remember earlier he tried DeMarcus Cousins and, he tried Pat Beverly in this series, thought maybe he could work or whatever the case may be. He saw that it didn't. And at least in this playoffs, he's done a really good job of making adjustments from game to game and realizing when something's not working. All right, I got another plan set up for that. And the whole Terrence Mann thing. Terrence Mann, I think what was the game 2? He played 1 minute.
Yeah.
Played 1 minute.
Yeah.
And played 26 at 13 last night. Yeah. I got to salute Ty Lue for that, man. Okay. Absolutely.
He made the adjustments. That's the good news for the Los Angeles Clippers. There's bad news.
Oh, no.
Historical bad news. And it's very bad news.
Damn.
And I'll explain that to you here in just a heartbeat. 916-349-1320. We got Big Al here. Big Al, what's going on, man?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Big Al, we appreciate you, my friend. Apologies to the stream. I think we're having a little difficulties in the studio. So if you couldn't hear Big Al, no worries. I know everyone on the radio did, but apologies to the folks on Twitch and YouTube.
Big Al brings up a good point, though. He says if you're going to say, and this is something that I don't think I've done. He said, if you're going to mention this guy's a good coach or whatever, you got to say somebody's a bad coach. And maybe I'm unclear, but he was coming to me and I was like, it's a good point. I don't think I've said anybody's a bad coach. That's consistent in my thinking about.
I think you're right.
Like, I don't, because I think all these guys, regardless of people want to believe it or not, all these guys know so much about basketball. They understand the concepts. I think the biggest thing about coaching, especially on the NBA level, is not understanding the game. Mm-hmm. It's about being able to relate to grown men, to be a leader of men. I talk about that a lot with Kyle Shanahan and in the NFL, being a leader of men and getting these guys who have been playing basketball forever, who know how to play the game, to follow what you think is best for them. And I think that's what it is. It ain't about somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're doing or they're not a good coach or they don't know the game. Like all these guys, come on, man. They've been around basketball their entire life, been around some of the greatest minds ever. They all know what they're talking about. Some of them may not be able to teach it and get it to their players.
It's also it's also understanding your players, your roster. It's understanding not just their games. And this is, you talk about being a leader of men, being a people. This is about understanding personalities.
Yes.
And knowing that being a coach isn't one size fits all. You have to coach Kenny Caraway different than you coach Damian Barling. You have to coach Damian Barling different than the way you coach Cole and John Bull and Ramsey. Like, everybody's personality is different. Everybody's reaction to a specific style of leadership is different. And you've got to figure out a way to get the most out of them. And Luke seems to, listening to, I know there was a clip, you even brought it up, the Rashawn Holmes. I don't remember what podcast it was on, but he was talking about where, that sounds right. Luke would be really upset if the guys were joking around and laughing after a loss, or they were telling jokes. Like, Luke would just be furious. He would be constantly angry. Then you have, there's another perception, and this is the one that I have, that Luke is everybody's buddy. That's the media perception. Like, that's the perception he gives off in front of the microphone, because he does not do what, hell, I think we saw Brad Stevens do it. Shoot, Michael Malone just did it. I ain't never heard Luke Walton say the team quit.
Right.
Not in the way that Michael Malone did, but that's a relationship that Michael Malone has been able to establish with those guys that are on that roster. And that those are just things that rarely is it the X's. Nate Bjorkson.
Now, is what a bad coach would be. That's what I would deem as a bad coach. And
what did we hear coming out of that? He was a micromanager. He didn't know how to talk to players. He didn't know how to talk to the assistants that he hired. He wasn't a people person. Yeah. He couldn't talk to anybody. He couldn't communicate his message. You got to be a good communicator when you're a coach. You got to be a leader. You got to be a motivational speaker. You got to be a TED talker. You got to be all of that stuff. They all know basketball. Like, we're sitting here wondering, like, what's going on with Doc Rivers? You talking about Ty Lue. I said there was bad news as it pertained to the Los Angeles Clippers. They're up 3-2. That's bad news. They are 0-8 all time with a chance to clinch a conference finals appearance. There is no such streak like that in professional sports.
Jeez.
They've lost those games by an average of 14.9 points per game.
Wow. So, real quick.
The only team that's ever been worse, by the way, is the Oakland Athletics. They lost 9 straight from 2000 to 2003.
Wow. I feel like they started a new streak, too, until last year.
Congratulations, Oakland.
Damn.
Well done. I know you had more that you wanted to hit us with, and you will when we get back. Plus, we'll have another opportunity for you to win $1,000, and we're going to blow up another team. Oh, and I got to tell you what Donovan Mitchell said. Mitchell said following the Clippers' victory last night as D'Lo and KC roll along another eventful day in the NBA and here on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. Do we have read here?
City Center again.
Oh, okay.
When's the City Center?
2:13.
Got you.
Whatever you want, man. Your call. I'm happy to do another one, or you can whatever you want. Okay. And when's that again? When is that? 43? Okay. Okay.
That's funny that Jazz tapped in, man. I didn't even think
that was great. Yeah.
Because she's as you can see by how loud I've been yelling, she's not even here today. So,
Oh, okay. I didn't even piece that together.
yeah.
Does she ever have to go to the office?
No, she's at home, but
Nice.
she's on a little vacation this week and
Oh, okay.
taking care of some business.
All right. Let me check something here real quick. Off. Check. Kenny, say something. Oh, I think we got
Check.
Yeah, I see it thumping. We should be good. Oh dear. Hammer's gonna come on at 3:20.
Oh, word?
Yeah. He just shot us a note and said if you want to talk about all this NBA craziness, I'm free.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think he texted this to me. This is what it says. I don't think there's anything wrong with me saying it. He said, let's do it. I can explain why Carlisle isn't coming to Sac. Yeah, I'll send him okay, great.
I like that.
That's a good tease right there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Not that I like that Carlisle's not coming. I like the tease.
Yep.
Did I read this right? I haven't seen anything to confirm it, but I think I heard it from Jim Crandall, so it's got to be true. Jimmy Kimmel has his own bowl.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Yep.
I like Jimmy Kimmel. I ain't got no problem with it, but come on, man.
Yep.
I kind of can't wait for bowl season though. With LA and Vegas having bowls now. Oh my. I won't be there, but yeah.
Hey, if you're all on YouTube, you want to go hit that thumbs up? Sure looks like there are a lot of people in there. Y'all want to go hit that thumbs up? Y'all want to hit the subscribe button?
Subscribe.
We appreciate y'all hanging out, man. We appreciate. Oh, you did hit the subscribe button. Okay, well keep hitting it and keep hitting the thumbs up. Make the sophomore class happy. There's 95 people watching on YouTube. Go on, hit that. Go ahead. There you go. We up to 60. Let's get to the sophomore class field trip here. Sophomore class field trip just got their Letterman's jacket. Oh, I see y'all hitting that thumbs up. I like it. Uh-huh. I said James Ham was going to be back with us for his weekly visit next week. I lied. James Ham's going to join us coming up at 3:20. Also, I should mention, normally this is Deuce and Mo time. Deuce and Mo are on vacation.
It's that time of year.
They're on vacation, so they're going to be back with us.
Hope they enjoy themselves.
I hope they are too.
They work hard, man. I hope they enjoying their break.
James Ham texted me, hey, let me know if you need me with all this NBA craziness. I was like, hey, man, we're open. You want to come hang out at 3:20? He said, let's do it. I can explain why Carlisle isn't coming to Sac.
Ooh.
Dum, dum, dum.
He's shooting that down ASAP.
James Ham shooting down rumors of Rick Carlisle coming to Sacramento before rumors of Rick Carlisle coming to Sacramento even start.
In the words of Luke Walton.
Damn it, James.
Contract.
Hi, James. James Ham coming up at 3:20.
Hey, what's up, James? Hey, how you doing, man?
James. The day he was happy. The day he was happy again. James.
Let me tell y'all a joke.
He came in. I'm telling you, I can't stress. Luke Walton was absolutely told he's set. I wouldn't be surprised if Luke Walton was told that day, fam, not only do you have a job this year, you've got a job next year. Because he came in, he was smiling, he was if I had known better, I thought he would have been on that McQueen and the Violet Fog gin. He got the bamboo cream before we did. Somebody slipped it into his coffee, which, having sipped this bamboo cream, you could very much slip it in your coffee. Man,
oh man, I love that bamboo.
I feel bad because we're talking about something that you can't buy yet. But when I say it's good,
it's exclusive. You know what I'm saying? We just saying when it come out, y'all want to hop. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna pit drinks against each other. I'm just gonna say the same way that you guys needed to go get that blue, you need to go get that cream when it's available because this thing gonna fly off the shelves. It's crazy.
We will monitor it just like we did the Luke Belair blue. And when we find out that it's in stores around us, we will let you know. We'll tweet the locations. We'll IG the locations, all of that stuff so you can go get it. We promise you won't be disappointed. We also promise your ass better be careful. You feel me? This isn't a drink that you sip and you go, ooh. Nope, it's a drink. You go, ooh, yum. Like I could legit throw this in my smoothie.
For real.
I'd be in bad shape by showtime.
It tastes like muscle milk. A better muscle milk.
Yeah, but like 1,000 times better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Muscle milk.
Well, I used to have the chocolate milk, and that's the one I would drink. And that was pretty good, but it tastes better than muscle milk.
Like the original version of muscle milk also had like 149 grams of sugar in it too. So that's why it didn't taste so awful. I always be done with it. Like, what? I got the protein, but why the hell does my stomach hurt? What the hell is in this? There's 457 chemicals in a bottled protein, and all I'm worried about is how many grams of protein are in it. Just got my workout in.
See, the only thing I'd be worried about is I need some chapstick afterwards because whatever it'll make my mouth.
Oh, awful. Yeah, awful.
But other than that, it's good. But this bamboo cream is like 10 times better than that.
It legit is. It is dangerous. Bamboo is so dangerous.
Okay.
Again, James Ham set to join us coming up at 3:20. We'll talk about what's been going on in the NBA. Who knows what's going to happen between now and 3:20? But James Ham will be here to hang out and talk with us.
I had a question for you though.
Mm-hmm.
You read why it is just the worst thing in the world, maybe, that the Clippers are up 3-2 right now. And you said they were 0-8. Is that 8 games or 8 series?
I think it's 8 games.
Okay.
Yeah. They are 0-8 all time with a chance to clinch a conference finals appearance.
Next question. Who needs the man when you got Kitty Carraway? Is Doc Rivers part of all 8 of those? I think he is. They had 3.
Yeah. There's no way they could have even sniffed the conference finals.
3 against the Rockets. Did they go up 3-2 at another time? Or game 7? I'm trying to think.
Say it again for the people in the back. Go ahead, say it again. Say it again.
Who needs the man when you got Kitty?
That's right. You're worse than the San Jose Sharks right now. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Shame. You're worse than that WBF title or whatever it was.
WBC title, Juneteenth title. Oh my God.
These fools made a championship belt with shackles on it.
Bruh.
I need to meet the dumbass who goes,
Carlisle fighting for it on Saturday.
I got a great idea. Let's put some shackles on it. We'll call it the Juneteenth belt.
Let's show respect by putting shackles on this belt. Bro, come on, man.
I can't.
It's crazy.
I can't wait to talk to James Ham. Mark Stein just tweeted, Carlisle had 2 years left on his contract in Dallas, but there are 5 other coaching openings in the NBA and possibly more forthcoming.
What do these people know?
Well,
mm-hmm.
I think you know where this is going. I think you just realized it.
Mm-hmm.
It is not Luke.
Mm-mm.
It's Bud.
Mm-hmm.
Rumblings about Milwaukee as a destination if the Bucks make a change. They've been circulating for weeks. Now, Ham, you've got to stick around. I'm not going to spoil this. 3:20. You've got to stick around when James Ham joins us. James Ham hit the tease. I'm going to tell you why Rick Carlisle isn't coming to Sacramento. And I knew this, but it didn't register. It's actually quite obvious. A couple of things would have to happen before we get there.
Well,
same thing in Milwaukee.
And I don't know where Hammond's going, so I can't wait to hear the explanation.
That's going to be good stuff, man. James Ham coming up at 3:20. Donovan Mitchell. I mentioned this as well.
Yeah.
He's not good, man. That right ankle, I know he said, I could sprint if you want me to. You know, he's really tried to play off this ankle issue as if it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal. This dude is hurting, man, and he's in pain, and he's playing through something. He said last night, it's something I'm going to have to deal with. I mean, it effing sucks. I ain't got nothing else to say. Like, it's tough when you're trying different things that you normally do and you see spots you could get to, but you can't. So you got to find a way to make things happen. It's tough, but I got to find a way. Otherwise, I'm going to be home. And I said it last year. I said it during the year. We didn't do all this to lose in the second round. We have got to figure it the F out. Otherwise, that's it. Excuse my language. I really just read the last part so I can get to the part where he said, excuse my language. But all kidding aside, that line in the middle where he says it's tough when you're trying to do different things you normally do and you see spots you could get to, but you can't get to them. He's acknowledging what you often hear. Kawhi Leonard injured his ACL. He was asked about it. He said, I'm good. Next question. Turns out he wasn't good. Athletes don't often talk about, injuries that they're dealing with. Normally they just show up at the podium with the cast after the series is over. But Donovan, like the fact that Donovan is actually talking about this, and of course he didn't just volunteer this information.
Right.
He was asked about it. I think it speaks to the level of pain and discomfort he's in and the level of frustration he has when he's out there trying to make a play for his team and he feels like he can't. And that, to me, moving forward, you're the Utah Jazz. That's tough. 6 of 19 last night for Donovan Mitchell.
So
after the amazing start to the series that he's had. So he's been playing through a lot, but it seems like it may have caught up with him a little bit yesterday.
When I hear these things, and to Donovan's defense, this is really not a knock on him because he hasn't said anything. I'm sure he was asked about it and he answered it honestly. But I kind of don't. If I'm the Clippers, let me just say maybe that's the point of view I'm coming from. I don't want to hear about that last night because when nobody talking about that ankle in game 1 and 2, when nobody talking about there's things that there's openings that I see that I can't get to. Nobody's saying that after game 1 or after game 2, but now. Give credit to them and understand that he is hurt. They switched up their defense. They're playing better defense. Hell, nobody was really even saying that after game 3 and 4 when Donovan played great. He played really good in those games.
And maybe that's my fault for. Remember, also though, he got. Did he get kicked in the ankle or it was
just a rough land? And that's what happens when you have a ankle injury as bad as his was. It doesn't take a lot for it to get tweaked and feel uncomfortable. So I don't want to say it as if he's making an excuse or if he's faking it or not. Like, no, he could walk the wrong way and all of a sudden it gets tweaked and it hurts. So it's not that. I guess I'm just looking at a Clippers point.
And it's my fault. I probably set it up wrong. I said he was asked about it, but he was asked specifically about his explosiveness. He was asked, like, it doesn't look like you're pushing off the same way. Are you in discomfort? Is the ankle acting up because you didn't look tonight like you had looked in previous nights? And that led to the answer that I just read you. So again, it wasn't volunteered. And maybe he should have said the ankle's fine. Next question, a la Kawhi Leonard. But
yeah, and he don't even have to say that. I'll say how I would answer it, right? I would give because
Kenny, you're lacking explosiveness after the ankle injury. Like, did you looked a little different tonight? Was your ankle bothering you?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, we all know it's a little sore, whatever the case may be. But I mean, that's just what it is. I'm out there playing. There were shots that I felt that I could have hit, and I just didn't. I've got to be better. Whether I got a good ankle or not, there are shots there that I could still get off and knock down some shots. So I just got to get better for game 6. So season's going to be over.
Thank you, Kenny. You may leave the Zoom call now.
Hey, I'll say this, at least, and Charles and him talked about it a little bit. At least Donovan was there to answer questions.
Okay.
They're dead right about that one. They're
okay. Now, and you know who else was there to answer questions? Ben Simmons was. Ben Simmons was there to answer questions. So I
heard a little info about that. Put that on check mark. I heard
Ben Simmons
and him answering questions afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check mark. Ben Simmons.
I don't want to interrupt your point anymore.
I wasn't going to make a point. I never do. I was just going to say you're listening to D-Lo and KC on ESPN 1320 KIFM, West Sacramento, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento and Odyssey Station, and driven by Lashers, Elk Grove Dodge. We're live on Twitch, twitch.tv/ESPN1320, youtube.com/ESPN1320. We welcome everybody who's watching the show. We welcome you listening on the Odyssey app and on 1320 AM. We've got your opportunity to win $1,000 coming up 10 minutes from right now. We got James Ham joining us coming up at 3:20. James Ham wants to come in and pontificate a little bit. We'll get his thoughts on what the last 24 hours in the NBA have been. We'll get his thoughts on Rick Carlisle. We'll ask about there's security for Luke Walton and then like the security for Luke Walton. We'll talk to him about that when he joins us coming up at 3:10.
And we're going to talk about it with him. We're going to talk about it later, but there's like almost a franchise defining game going on tonight. Like the Bucks a lot of things could change if they don't find a way to win tonight,
including the announcement of a new head coach should things go wrong for the Milwaukee Bucks. And we will absolutely get into that as well. Tyrese Halliburton, no surprise here, finished third in the Rookie of the Year voting. Those are things that we can dive into as well. We're going to blow up another team because another gossip column entered The Athletic this morning. Wow. And after the last gossip column, bro, after what happened with the last gossip column in Dallas a couple of days ago, if I'm New Orleans, I'm really concerned because apparently The Athletic is the pathway to blowing up franchises.
Chatty patties.
We'll
real quick on that Ben Simmons. So, I had my ears to the street.
You always do.
This morning in Philadelphia, wanted to. Before I get there, shout out to Charles Barkley, who multiple times last night said the joke, man, I want to fly out to Philadelphia because I want to hear sports radio and what they got to say tomorrow. Yeah, Chuck, it's 2021. If you have a phone, you're good. You don't have to fly out to Philadelphia.
Chuck. Somebody download Chuck the Odyssey app so he could just listen to D'Lo and KC. He can listen to his favorite station. I've got to fly there, get a rental car, and go to the AM station and listen. Like, no, Chuck, like
it's done it like 3 times, fam.
Chuck, you ain't got to do that.
It's not that.
And how did no one go, Chuck? We can help you with that. Like, of course, it's the same guy who left his wallet at Chipotle. Like, it happens. It's all good, Chuck. Beloved Charles Barkley, gonna quit when he's 60.
So they talked about Ben Simmons facing the media, and he did more than JoJo did. So he definitely did. Mm-hmm. But I guess in Philadelphia, because there's so many media outlets and so many media people, they have 2 different Zooms, and the majority of the people are on the first Zoom. And the guy pointed out that Ben Simmons always is on the second Zoom with less people on it to face less of the music. That was his theory. But and it didn't fail last night. He got on the second Zoom because that is routinely the lesser of the 2 when it comes to the media people. So you pointed out Ben Simmons stood up to the media.
So I didn't say okay.
Yeah, he did kind of. He did kind of.
You're really taking shots at Ben Simmons for not going to the more crowded Zoom call.
I do agree with Charles Barkley on that though. Like, come on, man. What do I always say? When everything's all good, you want to be up in my face. Mm-hmm. You want to talk to, hey, talk to me. When it goes bad and you got to face some of these same people, like be there the same way, be there with the same energy. You know what I mean? Like, if there is 2 Zoom calls, if you were on the first one after you went up 2-1, get on the first one when you go down 3-2. That, to me personally, that's what leaders do.
I feel like you were going to say something else about Joel Embiid earlier because I pointed out he had played well, 37 points, 5 assists, 13 rebounds, and you gave me the and you gave me the Kenny Caraway. I want to talk about that. You gave me the Kenny Caraway look. Did Joel not play well yesterday? Well,
I want to say this. You know me. I'm a Cancer. I'm about fair. That's probably a lot of the.
You want to be clear. You're talking about the sign Cancer, not like a cancer to the locker room.
That's good.
Talking about the sign. I got you.
I am a Cancer by sign, my astrology, all that.
Astrology. That's the word I was looking for.
It's almost cancer season. All right. Okay. I'm a Cancer. So reportedly, allegedly, we get caught up on things being fair. Right.
Oh,
if something's going on, it's like, well, that's not fair. That's like one of our hangups.
And that's a Cancer thing. It's an astrology thing.
That's what they say in our little sign. And, I'm not like a big astrology guy,
Doesn't
I'm not
sound
like,
like it.
oh, I'm a Cancer, I'm a Gemini, da 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 da. But when you read the characteristics of, well, for me, when I read the characteristics of a Cancer, I was like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
that's spot on.
same.
Man.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But so if I'm being fair, the reason why I brought that up is if I'm being fair, we put a hell of a lot on Giannis after having 34 and 12 the other night. And we said Giannis couldn't get it done. He didn't, he this and that, he this and that, he this and that.
Mm-hmm.
This has, some of it got to fall on Joel. It has to. I don't care if he had 37 and 13. You blew a 26-point lead. Like you're not blameless in this, man. You're not out of it. And that's all I'm saying. If we had not me and you per se, but Twitter, all this stuff, they had a lot of heat for Giannis the other night. They had a lot of heat for Giannis. Giannis was 34 and 12, 14 to 22 from the field. Had one of his best free throw shooting games of the series. You got to have the same heat for Joel. Once again, put it on a shirt, Donnie. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Joel don't skate here.
The Philadelphia 76ers were 12 of 32 in the second half. There's more.
I know where this one.
Joel Embiid was 3 of 9. Seth Curry was 9 of 12. No other Philadelphia 76er made a field goal in the entire second half of the game.
That's embarrassing.
Other than Seth Curry and Joel Embiid.
That's embarrassing. Wow.
And Joel Embiid topped out at 13 points in the second half after having the monstrous start to the game. So I ask you this. Did he get rope-a-doped? Like, did he gas himself out in the first half?
Nah, maybe.
Like, was he George Foreman out there in the Atlanta Hawks were Muhammad Ali and he's just trying to stay upright before the big bear goes down?
And that could have been the case. He had a lot to say in that first quarter. He had a lot to say. He was doing a lot of chirping. Him and Ben Simmons were doing a lot of chirping to the Hawks. And you was up 26 in the second half and lost that game. Joel, I'm not saying he had a bad game. I'm not saying like it's all his fault or nothing like that. He had a really good game. 1 of 5 in that fourth quarter. 1 of 5. You were 4 of 6 at the line, but the 2 that you missed would have cut the game to 1.
Jeez.
So he not Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris blameworthy, but he's not blameless.
I don't think we've spent enough time talking about Tobias Harris. Dude had 4 points yesterday.
That's just, come on.
He was 2 of 11. And I get your point. You know, you got my attention earlier when I said something about Joel Embiid. I get your point in that if we're going to criticize Giannis for not being the be-all, end-all for the Milwaukee Bucks when he has a great statistical game, you got to keep that same energy for Joel Embiid and criticize him when he's not the be-all, end-all of the game. And looking back at that, I really do think I know I made the joke about George Foreman. I really do think he gassed out.
Might have.
He looked like either he didn't pace himself properly or there is something wrong with him and he can't go a full game anymore.
Wow.
Because I'm looking at him like the Kevin Durant treatment. Like, did this dude need to go 48 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. He would have died. He would have fallen flat on his face. Like, man, it's a shame what happened to Joel Embiid. He was trying to mimic what Kevin Durant did the other day. Kevin Durant out there going 48 minutes. Doesn't even look like he got off the treadmill. Like, no, I'm good. Like, yeah, I told Steve Nash I could play. Which one? Fine. Reggie Miller talking about resting him. Like, resting him. Did you see him? He looked unbothered. Joel looked like he needed an oxygen tank.
Yep. Man,
that's fine. You know what? That's a good point. The only person in all of this that doesn't deserve any blame is Seth freaking Curry. Seth Curry, blameless.
He showed up.
Everybody else, questions.
He absolutely showed up, man. And to those questions, you mentioned it. Cole's mentioned it. Let's not stall out Tobias Harris.
No.
I mean, what the hell you making? I made a whole segment on Ben Simmons, who's making $30-something million a year. Well, Tobias, you're making $30-something million a year too. And you up here and you got 4 points. 4? Yeah, I can make the argument Tobias's only job is to get buckets. He's not out here distributing or nothing like that. His only job.
We're 30 seconds away from explaining how we could get Tobias Harris to the Sacramento Kings.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. It's the Summer of Cash contest. Your chance to win $1,000 comes right now when you text the code word VERSE 72881. That's verse. Like when the beat drops on Friday, Kenny drops a whack verse. 72881.
That was funny.
This is a multi-state contest. This is a multi-state contest. Message and data rates apply. And remember, don't text and drive. Your next opportunity to win $1,000 coming 1 hour from right now. So Tobias Harris, 4 points last night. How can we get him and his $30 million to the Sacramento Kings? Question.
Trey Buddy Hill.
Would you want Tobias Harris on the Sacramento Kings?
Yeah, I'd be okay with Tobias.
What's my man's name who used to call the show? What is it? Raphael? What was the he kept trying to do a Tobias Harris deal?
Oh,
Javier. Javi kept wanting to do it. All right. Is it time to talk to the Tobias Harris deal? He's got 36 million, 37.6 million, 39 million. 39 million. Who's in? 4 points.
Ooh.
4 points. And in 3 years, 2 years, he's getting 36 next year, 37, 39. He's going to be making $39 million in a couple years.
That's ugly.
Who's in?
I'll put out the question to you and everybody else. Would you rather have Tobias Harris or Ben Simmons? Monty talking to Daryl Morey, his old protege, or his old mentor, this summer. And Daryl's like, look, man, we got to get rid of some of the salary. Who you want to make a deal for? Tobias or Ben Simmons? I ain't gonna lie to you. I might go with Tobias.
I think I'm gonna go with Ben Simmons.
Yikes.
I think.
Yikes.
How old is Tobias Harris?
He's probably 27. Maybe
man.
Maybe
I feel like Tobias Harris's position fits better. Maybe Tobias. I think I go with Tobias. Do I reserve the right to change my mind like 1,000 times?
You just did in 20 seconds. First you said Ben. Now
I might. Tobias. I think so.
Okay.
But we got to go to commercial here, so I might change my mind again. Tobias is 29.
Oh, 29.
Next month. He turns 29 next month. Sorry, he turns 29 next month.
Yeah, I think I might go with Tobias.
Class, think it over. Although I'm looking at the chat, it doesn't appear anybody's thinking about it. Like they've already got their answer.
This is unanimous.
It's actually quite unanimous. Wow, y'all really hate Ben Simmons. My goodness, man. We'll come back. The Ben Simmons hate will continue, and we're blowing up another franchise. Oh, yes, it's true. It's damn true.
It's damn true.
That's coming up here on Sacramento's home for real Kings coverage, ESPN 1320.
Hey. Kenny Caraway here, all right? And everybody is talking about refinancing their home, taking out equity, or getting mortgages because interest rates are currently below 3% APR, all right? Before you go to the bank, you got to visit GoCityCenter.com today. I know my broker at City Center Financial is always looking out for me and trying to get me the best rate possible by comparing offers from many banks. So make sure I get the best deal. Your first step to refinancing or buying a home should start at GoCityCenter.com. That's GoCityCenter.com. All right. At City Center Financial, you are in good hands with experts that have been successfully helping families with their refinance and home buying needs and goals for over 20 years. All right. So if you're thinking of refinancing to fix up your home or take out some of that equity, once again, you have to reach out to City Center Financial first before you do anything else. That's GoCityCenter.com to reach out to them. GoCityCenter.com. Rates can rise soon, so now's the time to get a free consultation with your expert at CityCenter.com today. City Center Financial, the most options and best rate. Oh man, and he was on one every time. He hit me on Instagram, right? And wanted to talk. I talked to him too. I talked to Hobby. I mean, he didn't bother me the way he bothered everybody in the chat, but I also didn't have to deal with him in that way. He'd get in the chat and I couldn't even keep up. All of a sudden, he was just going at it with everybody. I was like, Jesus, Hobby, you ain't got to be like that, bro. Jesse, Damien is gone, so now we can talk. Any thoughts on Oscar De La Hoya? I agree. No, it got moved to a week before because that would be an absolute fail if it was the same part. You guys, I have fun. We have a great time with this whole hate list. There's really only two people that are on a real hate list for me that I do not like whatsoever. And that's Ronda Rousey and Oscar De La Hoya. Those are the only two people that I'm like, nah, I really got venom for them. I really got heat for these dudes and this lady. Don't like neither one of them. Draymond, Luka, they bother me. Their perception bothers me, but I don't have no real heat for those guys. Oscar De La Hoya, Ronda Rousey. Oh yeah, I don't like them too. Not at all. Oh my gosh.
Y'all did not like that dude, man. That's hilarious.
And what's with the national hat? I wear everybody's hat. The only hat that I'll never wear is a Dodgers hat, man. I just like hats. You know, I'm fashion forward, you know, high fashion, Roddy Rich. So I'll wear anybody's hats, really. I actually thought about that today. I was like, I gotta get some more hats, man. I gotta get some new hats. But yeah, I don't have no problem wearing anybody, but you won't see me in a Dodgers hat. Only time you see me in a Dodgers hat is if Reese gets drafted by the Dodgers. That's it.
When
Reese
gets drafted by the
Dodgers. He gonna get drafted, just not by the Dodgers.
Oh.
I don't like neither one of them. She sucked in WWE. That little stupid look she'd have on her face.
James Ham going to join us 1 hour from now. Excited to talk to him. He's got a new article up right now. Head over to his account. You already follow at James Ham NBC on Twitter. NBCS, excuse me, on Twitter. He wrote an article about how some ping pong ball luck could help the Kings jumpstart their rebuild. We'll talk to him, obviously, about the Kings. We'll talk to him about Tyrese Halliburton, and we'll talk about all of the stuff going on in the National Basketball Association. If you're just tuning in, you don't have push notifications on your phone, you haven't been paying attention to anything on the planet. Rick Carlisle, latest head coach, that is out. He has stepped away from the Dallas Mavericks. According to everybody involved, it was his decision. He's like, I'm out. I'm good. I'm moving on. And what happens with him will be very interesting. What happens tonight will be very interesting, partner, because you said this a couple of moments ago. This could be a franchise-defining game for the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. Game 6. No Kyrie Irving. I guess James Harden's good to go. He's completely healthy now. Kevin Durant, fresh off that 49-point, 48-minute performance. And now the Bucks back on the ropes at home.
I still believe this is a game that Milwaukee should win. You're at home. You've got the relatively healthier team. Your others who have not showed up whatsoever in this series, you got to expect and hope that they show up one time in the series. I expect Milwaukee to win tonight. I'd be pretty. The way these playoffs are going, the way games are going, it's hard to like really shock me this year because everything it's been crazy. But I'd be a little surprised if Milwaukee didn't win today. I think this is a 7-game series, and we're gonna have a game 7.
Okay, then what happens in game 7? Oh, don't ruin it. We'll do it tomorrow if it happens.
If it happens,
But I agree with you. It could be a franchise-defining game. We could be in the midst of a franchise-defining moment right now for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Ooh.
You see, the Pelicans let go of their head coach, Stan Van Gundy. When I say let go, of course, I mean he was fired. Now, today in The Athletic, and this was funny to read because we referred to, I think that's just the new bit. These articles that come out, we're just going to now refer to them as gossip columns unless they have actual facts in them. And I'm not saying that this stuff isn't true, but because it can't be corroborated, we just call it gossip. And it's fun. Like, that's what we do. That's 99% of what NBA Twitter is. It's gossip.
Right.
Well, Zion Williamson, according to The Athletic, sources say that certain family members of Williamson want him on another team and that there's been dysfunction within the Pelicans for months. Among the targets of the Williamsons' criticism was head coach Stan Van Gundy, who they felt was too rigid and demanding, but also the organization, which they claim did not live up to what they felt should be the standard for a star like Williamson. Numerous opposing league executives have heard the complaints, and they were confirmed by Pelicans officials. Oh, dear.
So where we get into blowing up franchises here on D-Lo and KC until we get ours right. Once we get ours right, then
live and let live.
Yeah,
that's fine.
We'll let all that happen.
Yep.
This potentially this could be blown up in existence. If Zion don't work in New Orleans, after Anthony Davis didn't work in New Orleans, after Chris Paul didn't work in New Orleans, what are we still doing in New Orleans?
We're going to be talking.
We're talking about a city that I love. I love New Orleans. My family is from New Orleans. That's that. I got my heart is in New Orleans. That's not a basketball place. And if they can't figure this out with Zion, come on, man.
You know that scene? Of course you do. Everybody knows it. If it's the only scene you know this scene. When Will Smith collapsed in Uncle Phil's arms. How come he don't love me, man? That's the Pelicans talking about the city of New Orleans. They don't love you. They're the dad, the real dad, Lou, those are the Saints.
Yeah.
The Saints just going to walk out and New Orleans going to continue to love them. That's just the way it's going to be. The Pelicans are not loved in New Orleans, and the Pelicans can't get right in New Orleans, and you're right. This situation could blow up a lot of things. It could blow up the existence of the Pelicans. You're 100% accurate. Cue the music for Las Vegas and or Seattle.
Vegas, let's go.
Okay, I know. Cue it up. But this is on the heels of the Luka Doncic story. Now, everything screams. You and I had fun with the Dallas Mavericks story, even though it's now resulted in the loss of Donnie Nelson and the loss of Rick Carlisle.
Yeah.
But we still laughed at it as like we're worried about placating Luka. Was Luka not going to sign the $200 million extension? What's he going to do? Sign the qualifying offer and willingly give up $100 million? Probably not. There's mad, and then there's just dumb mad. You could be mad. Don't be dumb mad.
Yeah.
Don't be $100 million mad. But it's a conversation, right? This Zion Williamson thing is a conversation. If we start getting to the point where guys like Luka Doncic allegedly get their way, if we start getting to the point where, and by the way, Zion Williamson, to the best of my knowledge, I tried to read the article as quickly as I could before the show started. It's not Zion referenced in this article. It's Zion Williamson's family. It's the equivalent of Big Marv.
I'm about to say Big Zion.
Big Zion is referenced here in the conversation, or that's the equivalent of what we're talking about here. And so if we get to the point where guys on rookie deals like Luka, like Zion, can start strong arming their way out of cities, again, it is extremely unlikely because the amount of money that they would be giving up. And it is a very substantial amount of money that they would be giving up. But if we get to the point where they're able to strong arm their way off of franchises, you talk about folding up New Orleans. You could fold up New Orleans. You could fold up Sacramento. You could fold up every small market in the NBA, because if you don't have the strength of the draft, you've got nothing. If you don't have the ability to draft a potential franchise altering player and build around them for the next 7 years, you've got nothing. You might as well. What's the word? Is it retraction? What's the word where you start eliminating franchises? You might as well start doing that.
Yeah, retraction.
Contraction, retraction, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just start throwing them out. Just nope. Kings gone. Pelicans gone. Who else? Oh, Memphis. You got another year. Let's see what happens. Memphis, you're on notice. You start looking around and you realize if you ain't got the draft, if these teams don't have the draft to build, you got nothing. And again, I don't believe this is going anywhere. It's just too financially damaging to go anywhere.
Like I said, I would read something like this if I was the Pelicans. I would read something like I read the other day or a week ago if I was the Mavericks. And hell yeah, this article.
Gonna put some butts in the seat.
That's exactly how I feel. Like, it really don't matter what you write. we got control over his contract essentially for the next 8 years. So, and if he wants to turn down that money, whether it's Luka or Zion, whoever we're talking about, please. I know Big Marv, Big Zion ain't going to tell him to turn down $200 million just to leave.
Here's another note for all of the professional athletes listening. Tell your family to shut the hell up. All of them. Just sit them down. You don't have to talk to your dad directly. You certainly don't talk to your mom like that. You sit everybody down in a big room. Hey, y'all aren't friends with reporters. Y'all aren't texting reporters. You're not grabbing somebody at one of my games and telling them Zion's foot hurts. Zion had a bad meal today. Zion's unhappy. You're not talking about me to a credentialed media member. You're not talking about me to a non-credentialed media member. You're not talking about me to anybody. You got to do it that way.
Simple as that. We talk about family business. You know what I'm saying? This is family business. You wouldn't go tell the reporter all the little family business that we got going on in our real family. So start telling them about the things that we got going on here in our business life. You can talk to them. Hey, you've done it before. I've done it before. I've talked to parents and brothers and things of that nature of current kings. They've been cool. I'm a little different, though. I'm not here trying to get no scoop. I'm not here coming back on the radio saying, well, guess what such and such brother told me. Like,
bro, I was the guy. I was the one that they thought was dumb. Like, you going to come to, you want to come ask me? God bless her. Aline Voisin, how stupid do you think I am? You're coming over here asking me questions about, give me a break. Like, I'm not, get away from me.
Right.
Stop it. Like, if you want to have a conversation with me, let's have a conversation. But don't think I'm stupid enough that you're going to start slipping in these questions about Kara and her contract status, and I don't know what you're doing. Like, come on.
I mean, you wasn't thirsty to try and get some of that light. And that's what some of these family members and parents are. They thirsty trying to get some of that light, trying to be stars in their own right.
That's dumb, man. It's so, and all it does is harm the player. All this does now is make life difficult for Zion, because Zion's got to get a call from David. Zion's got to get a call from all of his bosses, whether it's Griff or the lady who owns the team. You're getting a call from everybody today. What's wrong? What can we do? Let's meet. Let's get on a Zoom. Let's figure all of this stuff out. What your off-season schedule look like? Do you want to be involved in you got to do all of these stupid things because someone or someone's in your family went and, befriended a media member.
But you know what, though? You know what would end on? Well, it wouldn't end on. They still have to do that stuff with his bosses. But like I said all the time, and this is 2021. You don't have to call no press conference. You can put it on your IG stories. I speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody speaks for me. If it didn't come from me, don't listen to it. That's how you did all that. Unless you want it out there.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Is what I mean. We spend too much time together. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say.
And that's what we always talked about with Marvin Bagley III. Like, you could dead all this if you want.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, unfortunately, people are going to be left to feel like, well, maybe this guy is speaking for him, whether it's his uncle or his dad or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how this stuff goes, man.
It is crazy. And it was interesting to wake up to that. Like, oh, cool. We've got another one. New Orleans better get it right, man. Because I don't think you were off about what you just said, that this is an organization in flux. We talked about a defining moment for the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. We're talking about the Milwaukee Bucks team. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Giannis and Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. And perhaps most specifically tonight, we're talking about Mike Budenholzer.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about a defining moment for the Pelicans, we're talking about the very existence of the New Orleans Pelicans. And this is a team that feels like it's hanging by a thread already.
There's an article that I wanted to dive into a little bit, but I think the premise of it was their lease for where they're at, the Smoothie King Arena or whatever the case may, or to just be in the city in general, up in 2024. I feel like New Orleans.
I'm sticking.
NBA basketball in New Orleans has been a failed experiment.
Mm-hmm.
There's two better markets than New Orleans for basketball, and this is coming from somebody that, Damon, we talked about this a number of times. I've talked on the show. I've said it 5 minutes ago. I love New Orleans. New Orleans is a great city. Great
party town. Great place to watch football.
New Orleans, yes. It's not basketball, man. It's not basketball. And you go to Vegas, you go to Seattle. I mean, the league. I don't know what the numbers are just by having a team in New Orleans. I don't know if that affects it, but I know as far as like ticket sales, excitement, all this other stuff, Vegas is proving what they can do with the Golden Knights. So they're proving. Any thoughts about Vegas before? And we joked that how much I love Vegas or whatever, but just realistically, like you look at what they did with the Golden Knights. It's like, man, can this be a pro town or whatever? They're all over it. I think they do really well with the Aces as well.
Fantastic.
They're all over it.
Yep.
They have proven that's a market where the NBA should be. I mean, the NFL, the Raiders, all that is, they've proven it's a professional market. Seattle, we already know what would happen if a team went back to Seattle. Both of those have to be greater than what New Orleans is bringing to the table right now.
Jordan Willis, he'll miss the first 6 games of the season for violating the NFL's PED policy.
There you go. To
Big Mexico. Deal, little deal, no deal. Yeah, it was probably a pork burrito. Maybe he was at Chipotle with Chuck.
Maybe he was at Chipotle.
I don't know. Is this a big deal?
I mean, my first thought is no, it's not a big deal. That's my first thought. But you know, one of the things that they had last year that was an issue was depth on the defensive line. So,
is there a sport that we look past PED use quicker than the NFL? It's like, oh, he's on PEDs. He'll be back in 6 games. Anyways, back to Joel Embiid. back to New Orleans. It's like it doesn't even phase us. Like it does. Didn't a PED user get a freaking Super Bowl MVP?
Yeah, was that Edelman?
Edelman.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, but you know, it's trying to recover. Yeah. Thanks.
Deer antler spray as well. Don't forget about that.
Gosh, that sport forgives this stuff so quickly. It's PEDs to football are the sticky substance to baseball. They're one and the same. It's just universally accepted that it happens and nobody cares.
But I'm not even going to put it on the NFL because, Damian, you said that. You brought up Jordan Willis and you asked me a question. Yeah, maybe. What's next? Like we didn't sit up here and have no doubt. We was like,
it don't even matter.
Okay.
It don't even matter. And Jordan Willis, whatever, could have been George Kittle. Okay, we talk about George Kittle missing 6 games, but we're not talking about George Willis being a cheater. We're talking about George Willis missing. We're talking about George Kittle missing. To the best of my knowledge, there is no George Willis on the San Francisco 49ers. We're talking about George Kittle missing 6 games if he got caught cheating. We're not talking about George Kittle getting caught cheating. Right. We ignore the act. We focus on the consequence, man. George, hey, if hypothetically the alert had said George Kittle suspended for PED use, he's out 6 games. Crap. Who do the 49ers play in the first 6 games?
It's all about how it affects the team and their winning. Not, oh my gosh, he took steroids.
Not he cheated. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on to the next.
So how about those San Francisco Giants? Speaking of the Giants, speaking of steroids, let's shift the baseball.
Right. Handling business. Before, because we got Ham coming, soon, we're going to get into kind of previewing what's going on, maybe reset, everything that's going on, the quick hits that we have. You said something in our show call when we brought this up. Tua, it was reported in minicamp that he got picked off 5 times.
Yep.
In a minicamp scrimmage, 7-on-7, 11-on-11, whatever. Yep. Big deal, little deal, no deal. What were you going to say about that?
Resident Dolphins fan, Jesse, any concern over this?
Absolutely no deal. All right, it's just practice. Doesn't matter. I was actually looking to see other quarterbacks who have had.
Oh, there it is. That's what I wanted to hear.
In 2019, a certain Jimmy Garoppolo threw 5, not just in practice, 5 consecutive interceptions in practice.
Yeah.
With the Super Bowl that year. So no deal. I think we're good.
I think what this means is, as Jesse just plainly stated, the Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl.
That's facts.
That's what happens.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I put this in the rundown, and specifically because of that. Like when I saw it as a story, I was like, I learned from experience. I said, that's what we're doing now. That's how we're going to do this again. Media, national media. We're going to report on somebody's mini camp performances and talk about 5 picks when the last time it happened, the man went to the Super Bowl. I got to stop this.
They threw 6 touchdowns, no picks in practice. So yeah, it's all meaningless.
No, the 5 interceptions are way funnier.
Is that meaningless too?
I prefer it to the other headline, but
I would specifically the hysteria from at least people. Well, no, I think it ended up being a national story.
No, it was a story. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo. It was absolutely a story.
Throwing 5 interceptions. And it might not have been minicamp. It might have been training camp. But I mean, it was a story not only locally, it bled into national story that he threw 5 picks. And it was just so embarrassing by everybody involved. Extremely embarrassing. I remember, I'm calling out names.
Oh.
I remember John Middlecoff, specifically listening to him in Haberman, I forgot his name. And he was sitting up there and he said, well, we got to be real, John. Or no, we got to be real, Guy. That's his name, Guy Haberman. Would Jimmy be able to start at De La Salle right now?
Jesus Christ, dude.
Come on, man.
That Middlecoff dude is an ass clown.
Come on, man.
I can't ride with him. Dude. He's an absolute buffoon. Man.
So that's what was being talked about a day or two after Jimmy threw 5 picks.
Could he start at De La Salle? Give me a break.
Fam,
could you?
Hell no.
Speaking of embarrassing, the NFL
making the left hand layup.
Speaking of coffee boy. Speaking of embarrassing, the NFL yesterday so desperate to get some headlines. Get Up had already run its Aaron Rodgers segment for the day. Shout out to the producers of Get Up who just ran it again this morning at 5:12. I swear to you guys, I have the picture. I took the picture of the screen. I just haven't said it to you. Every morning this week, segment A, the A block as they call it in television, Get Up has started with the segment on Aaron Rodgers. To the best of my knowledge, absolutely nothing has happened with Aaron Rodgers this week. But Get Up on ESPN has absolutely started every show this week with a segment on Aaron Rodgers. But the NFL yesterday, so thirsty for attention, All NBA Twitter on fire. Roger Goodell demanded somebody tweet something. So they released the COVID protocols.
Oh, joy.
Which, while not fun or nearly as entertaining as what happened yesterday, they were interesting. And it's clear that the NFL, and I imagine, and I point this out because I think that the NBA is ultimately going to follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL makes it clear in these protocols, we want you to get vaccinated. And there are essentially perks to being vaccinated versus not vaccinated. For example, fully vaccinated players who have a close contact with someone who has COVID, they won't have to quarantine. Unvaccinated players will. Unvaccinated players will be tested every day. Vaccinated players won't. Unvaccinated players must wear a mask at the team facility and while traveling. Vaccinated players will not. And it goes on and on and on. Unvaccinated players may not leave the team hotel or interact with people outside the team while traveling. Vaccinated players can.
Damn.
They're writing in big, bold letters, get vaccinated. I imagine the NBA's protocol for next year is going to look strikingly similar to this one here. I think I even read, while not outlined in these protocols, I read it somewhere else that reporters will go back, which is something I wondered if that was ever going to be the same again, but reporters will go back to being able to have face-to-face interactions with athletes as long as they're vaccinated.
This is going to be interesting because that's going to be the first, right? I'm not sure if they do that in baseball. I don't think they do it in baseball right now. So NFL doing that would be the first, semblance of normalcy as far as media player interaction goes. Being face to face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. They're saying it pretty clearly.
Camp's really close. We're not that far away from camp.
We're a little more than a month.
We're about to hit high gear here real quick. We've got the lottery next week, but in terms of stories, we're going to have camp, the NBA draft, and free agency all within a couple of days. And then shortly thereafter will be the first preseason game, and then the NFL season will start, and the NBA season will be right after. Training camp will be right
even
after.
In between there, we got summer league. If the Kings hold on to their pick and draft somebody at 8, wherever they draft, maybe I should start speaking in existence. If they draft somebody in the top 5,
oh, there you go. I like it.
Start speaking into existence. We're gonna follow this new young Sacramento King in Vegas for summer league. So it's about to get real dead, and then just take off in a matter of a week or so.
But no matter what, we're going to have fun. James Ham's going to join us coming up at 3:20. We've got your next opportunity to win $1,000 coming up next. No update yet on Chris Paul, but we'll let you know what Jalen Rose said, and we'll get talking about the Nets and the Bucks tonight. Can the Bucks recover from what happened to them the other night in Brooklyn and push this series to a Game 7? That's coming up here as D'Lo and KC continue here on Sacramento's home for real Kings coverage, ESPN 1320. So as that temperature's rising out there, make sure you grab yourself a bottle of McQueen and the Violet Fog Gin. I say that because it's cool and refreshing, and you're going to need all the cool and refreshing you can get. Now, I know what you're saying. Yo, D, I don't want to go outside, man. What are you talking about? It's hot. I want my McQueen and the Violet Fog Gin, but I don't want to go to the stove. That's okay. Just go to drizzly.com. Go to drizzly.com. Put in your address. It'll search all of the liquor stores near you, and you can have it delivered to you. Boom. That simple. And if you are out and about, or for whatever reason, Drizzly doesn't deliver to your area, no problem. Let me know. Let KC know. We'll let our man Ben know. We'll get the re-up. We'll make sure that as these brutally hot summer months start to hit us, these brutally hot summer days start to hit us, that you have the cool, refreshing, and distinct citrus flavor of McQueen and the Violet Fog Gin. You know what we say? We don't make much, but what we do make is damn good. And we want you to post your recipe and your cocktail over at D'Lo and KC in at McQueen Violet Fog. Both of those on Instagram. Even if you're more of a Twitter person, tag us on Twitter. It's all good. We want to see what you're drinking, because after 500 years, it's time for a new gin. It's time for McQueen and the Violet Fog. KIFM reminds you, be responsible. Do not drink and drive. Oh, man. Hey, there you go, Rocky. That's a good gift right there. Bro, David, add him to mine too, man. I don't like that clown at all. At all. Hey, Eric, how MAGA are you? Like, are you MAGA like you got a full-on flag on the back of your car? Or are you just kind of MAGA? Like, give me a percentage. I see securing the Bagley in here. Laying the law down. I see you, Bags. Appreciate you. Ooh, winning by 10. Okay, Bags. I see you.
Could go down.
I see you. I just won a 7th game. I know that. Because would that mean if they lose, does that mean Sunday we don't have a game?
Yeah, because game 7 for the Clippers and Sixers would be on Sunday, I think. So Saturday we wouldn't have a game.
And what are we going to do? Come on, man.
Drink bamboo cream.
Legit. Legit. I know what I'm doing.
There's
Saturday.
actually boxing on Saturday, too, by the way. Charlo Brothers, Lions only. You know what it is, baby.
Okay. They're really kind of teasing this Roman Reigns Rock thing.
What they do now?
Roman Reigns said something. I guess this addressed The Rock and John Cena. If I were them, I'd stay on set.
The head of the table.
I always like the idea. I think you're right, but I always like the idea in terms of the ratings part. I always like the idea of Brock and Rock. I think Brock and Rock was the original idea for a headliner in Dallas. That first WrestleMania in Dallas. I think that's what they wanted to do, but The Rock tore his
Is that when he tore his Achilles?
No, not Achilles. His he tore like a I don't think he tore something right here, like right off his hip. Ooh. And the movie said it like delayed the Hercules. The Hercules movie.
He tore his Achilles though, didn't he?
The Rock? I don't think so. Thrilled that you're here with us. Another opportunity for you to win $1,000 coming up in about 20 minutes or so. 22 minutes to be exact. James Ham coming up at 3:20. Excited to talk to him. Glad he can kind of jumping in on this Thursday. We didn't get to talk to him yesterday. Get to talk to Deuce and Mo. Marshall left us. I was like, man, clearly it's us. But James Ham is going to join us here today to talk about all the NBA craziness.
I'm just laughing because in the chat, Tony Edwards comes out of nowhere and just says PG-13, biggest fake tough guy in the NBA. I said it. Where did
wait, what?
We hadn't talked about Paul George in like an hour and a half.
Wait a minute. And why is Paul George faked? Well, and just so I'm clear, because there's so many different directions to go with this, Tony. Paul George is faker tough than Kevin Durant? Like, who is Kevin Durant beating up? But he'll get in your face quick.
See, I don't think Kevin Durant is the fakest tough guy in the league.
Okay,
I'm trying to think now.
It's not Paul George. I don't even know. When did Paul George act like a tough guy?
Last night, I think he flared up on somebody. He flexed on somebody because they did something. I forgot. I didn't see the exact situation. As I look on my screen, Luka's a pretty fake tough guy. But Luka will talk crazy. He ain't gonna do nothing, no. Who else is a fake tough guy? It's a good. I feel like Nurkic it's real chatty.
Oh, but his brothers.
Well, that's Jokic, them thugs.
Oh, you said Nurkic. Yeah, you said Yusuf Nurkic.
Them ghetto thugs
Mm-hmm.
out there in Denver.
Yep.
So give me some time to think about that, Tony Edwards.
And while we're thinking about it, Tony, could you just shoot us a note that said, like, what the hell made you text that? Because I'm genuinely curious. Like, Tony just jumped in here like, hey, just want y'all to know I said it. Like, Paul George is a fake tough guy.
That's what cracked me up. Oh, David might be right. I think it might be Draymond. I think Draymond is Kevin Garnett fake tough. Absolutely. I think Draymond got hemmed up by Bradley Beal one time.
Dude, what's going to happen with Brad? What's going to happen with those? Like, I think Brad's going to ask out.
I think he could. Brad is from St. Louis, so we don't have to worry about going home or anything.
They got to start that. I think they got to start that. And like, is Russell Westbrook really going to be on another team? Like, he only had, and like, I know everyone like talks about his money as if like he's trash or something. He's only got like 2 years left on that deal.
You know, I always thought there was like some type of coming home thing for Russ. That is a coming
LA.
home. I'll talk about. I always thought at some point in his career, whether it was Lakers or Clippers, I thought he would come home, come to LA. And that could be in play. I mean, it kind of trying to think off the top of my head, well, if they keep Kawhi, I mean, there's things they could do. He can come to the Clippers. And probably lines up for sure for the Lakers.
That's probably not something to watch this year, something maybe more to watch next year when it's just 1 year left on that contract. You think so?
This year, this goes into what I was saying about everything about the Kings running it back. I feel like this year is going to be quiet in general. There's not a lot of movement going on this year.
You know, like 2 weeks ago, no NBA coach had been fired.
Yeah.
And then Terry Stotts is fired. Brad Stevens takes the general manager position. That job opens up. And then all of a sudden, everyone was like, screw this. Stan, you're gone. Rick's like, I'm out. I don't even, who was it? Steve Clifford. Steve Clifford. Is that who the Orlando coach was? He was fired.
It's good knowledge.
Bjorkson fired. Like, yeah, we just wanted y'all to go on vacation. Take a little break. Been a long year. And we're plotting your firing right now. It was quiet. It was quiet. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Hell, there are 3 openings just in the last 24 hours. And interesting openings at that.
Well, there's 2 of them that have been, they said they were good. And then all of a sudden they're open. Scotty Brooks and Rick Carlisle came out.
Well, but it wasn't Rick Carlisle. It was Dallas that said, no, it was Mark Cuban that said, no, what are you talking about? We're not going to change coaches for the sake of changing coaches. It was Rick Carlisle who was like, yes, you are. You're changing coaches for the sake of you ain't got one no more.
Did you see, I think you read this. But the guy who wrote the initial article has responded on Twitter with all caps, total BS. It was Tim Cato.
Oh, is that who it was? The Mark Cuban response?
Yeah. He said it all though. He said the word on Twitter. All caps, total.
Hey man, own the day. It's you, brother. Like you've earned this moment.
I told y'all Cuban a shady character, man. It's a shady character.
But wait a minute. Like, what did Cuban actually do though? Because
came out trying to discredit this man, like wasn't nothing going on. 48 hours later, everything is blowing up in Dallas. You can't listen to a cat like that.
But I guess so.
And from what I hear, I mean,
that dude should be taking the greatest victory lap of all time.
Oh hell yeah, should get him on the show. Matter of fact,
do we know anyone who works at the Athletic who could connect us with them? Maybe. I don't know. Check our Rolodex here.
Yeah. See what we got there. But with Cuban, what was it? So the whole thing was he was going with this new guy. This I forgot his name.
Bob Voulgaris.
He was going with him,
which sounds like a movie villain. Well, so the article is framed as this Voulgaris guy has a lot of influence in the organization. and the influence, and then it kind of centers around the fact that apparently Luka Doncic doesn't like this guy, and the fact that Luka doesn't like this guy, and he's having growing influence. It's left the front office with concerns about Luka's long-term commitment to the Dallas Mavericks. Mark Cuban hit the total BS. He called in an opinion piece and so on. And then the next day, Donnie Nelson is gone. And then the next day, Rick Carlisle says, I'm out. See you when I see you.
Yeah,
which I can't remember what that's from.
See you when I see you. Peace. Might have been
what is
a party. Might have
Is
been.
it Martin? See you when I see you.
Martin, but he might.
You So Crazy. That's what it's from. It's from You So Crazy. That stand-up special. I was watching old episodes of Def Comedy Jam, by the way, this weekend. That was my level of boredom. Some of them, man, they don't hit like they used to. Now the Burning Macs and the DLs and Martin, on point. Some of them, though. And it's so great to see like the giant X medallions, the cross colors, like all of the gear from like the super early 90s.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was something.
I remember my first concert I ever went to. This lineup was crazy. I think I have this right. It was crazy though. It was Criss Cross, Mary J. Blige, and I think Aaliyah. Maybe it wasn't Aaliyah. It was somebody else really huge. Criss Cross was the headliner, though.
Of course they were.
All these people. And it was the first one I went to. I had this fly black jean outfit, cross colors, though.
Mm-hmm.
Fly.
Did you have it on backwards?
No, I couldn't. My mom wouldn't let me put it on backwards.
But you tried. And Cheryl from Elk Grove was like, no, fam, you're not leaving.
I wish I had pictures of that album.
Me too.
Nothing.
Me too.
You couldn't.
That was your first concert, you said?
That was my first concert. Criss Cross.
I'm really uncomfortable with what my first concert was. I remember I tried to go to a New Edition Summer Jam and couldn't. My first concert I actually got to go to. It was R. Kelly. It was R. Kelly. Heavy D was there. It was supposed to be R. Kelly and Aaliyah.
Oh, jeez.
Now, what they said was Aaliyah was taken off the tour because it was sponsored by Budweiser. I'm beginning to think that that's not the truth.
Oh, man.
I'm beginning to think there's a different reason that Aaliyah was taking off of that show. And I loved Aaliyah. So that's really who I was going to see. Aaliyah, Heavy D, loved R. Kelly too. But yeah, that now I'm stuck with that. When people say, who's your first concert? I pretty much got to say, pass. I got to pass. Or I went and saw Heavy D perform like 4 songs.
And look, it was my first concert. I seen R. Kelly probably 3 times in concert. I was a huge R. Kelly fan. Before, I kind of knew all the other stuff and it became too much to even deny. Just his music I used to like. But I seen him like 3 times in concert.
At least it wasn't your first. I remember what I wore too. It was when remember how R. Kelly wore the vest on the this story ages so poorly. He wore the vest on the cover of the 12 Play album. Well, I wasn't, I was fat, or chunky or chubby.
How old were you going to R. Kelly concert?
I was in high school. Man, it was, I think 12 Play was out. I got to say it was like 14 or 15. Like Aaliyah and I were the same age, or you and I are a couple years apart. I was the same age as Aaliyah.
Yeah.
So I was probably like 15.
Going to Kales.
Maybe 15. I mean, it would only make it like it was that weird. I mean, 12 Play was out, which is sensual. And then the other album was Born into the 90s. Like it wasn't that bad.
I tease the Queen.
It's bad now. It wasn't that bad then.
At the time, no. At the time, it was all good. But I tease the Queen Bee about this all the time. The songs that we would sing and know the words to at 11, 12 years old. Oh my God.
Seems like you're ready.
And that was our
girl, are you ready?
Words, all this.
Oh, man.
and we sit up there and we'll be like, oh, I'll never let Reese listen to Lil Baby. The things that we were singing about, Jesus.
His biggest hit at the time was Sex Me. The song was called Sex Me. Or who didn't belt out My Mind's Telling Me No?
Come on now.
Oh, so awful.
Yeah.
Shame. We're between yesterday's keywords and today's show, we're this close to getting canceled. This is a safe place. I can tell you, like it happened.
Yeah,
I went to an R. Kelly concert.
We lived and learn a little bit. After you,
I can't believe I fell for that. Yeah, we took her off because of the Budweiser sponsor. Right. You're listening to D-Lo and Casey on ESPN 1320, KIFM West Sacramento, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento, and Odyssey Station, and driven by Lashers, Elk Grove, Dodge. We're live on twitch.tv/ESPN 1320, youtube.com/ESPN 1320. We hope that you'll hit the subscribe button. If you're watching, hit the thumbs up as well. James Ham set to join us in 20 minutes, and your chance to win $1,000 coming up in 10 minutes.
You said new edition. Were you talking about the Home Again one or the? Or
I went to Home Again. I went to the Home Again show
at the time. Like
I was legit because they were getting along at the time, and so like everybody did a little set before they did the new edition stuff. I would love it more now as an adult. The unfortunate part is I've seen Bobby as an adult, and you ain't gonna get me again. Like I swear that dude he did. I swear to you at the casino spot.
Yeah,
he did like a 35-minute rendition of Good Enough. And at that point, it was like, will you get your ass off the stage? You get your drunk ass out of here. You're ruining the whole show. And then, of course, Keith Sweat comes out. He's like the headliner.
Yeah,
he's like in 1994.
Right.
He's good. Bobby out there drunk. Bobby storms the stage, and Keith is like, oh, Bobby's here. Yeah, you could do the new edition reunion tour. You ain't gonna get me again. Never.
See new edition.
You ain't gonna get me again.
You know who's actually like made a comeback? I saw Casey and JoJo at the Bad Boy tour or whatever, and they were just out of breath. It wasn't good at all. But I've seen Casey on Instagram, and it seems like he's back. Like he's seen some a cappella versions of some of his songs, and it's like, oh, KC, you're back. So I would again, maybe not in an arena, but in a more intimate setting.
I'm gonna need that. Oh, KC, you're back. Isolated, because I feel like at some point I can just hit that button and it would be marvelous. One person who's not back, one person we haven't really heard anything about since the news dropped yesterday is Chris Paul. It was just Chris Paul's in health and safety protocols, and then that was it. I kept waiting for the Chris Paul tweet, the Chris Paul Instagram story, the Chris Paul statement. Nothing. All we got was Jalen Rose going on TV saying Chris Paul is vaccinated. So with Chris Paul being vaccinated, that should change the protocol situation a little bit different, or should make the protocol situation a little bit different. But I would like to hear it from Chris Paul and not Jalen Rose.
I'd like to hear from Chris Paul and Jalen Rose, and I'm also just stuck in the back of my mind another tweet from Shams yesterday.
Refresh my memory.
How many people tested positive?
One. So remember, De'Aaron went into health and safety protocols, and it went silent, and we didn't learn for a while that it was bad. So if Chris. Again, Jalen said he was vaccinated. I don't know what to. I don't know if he is or he isn't. But the idea, the one of the things the vaccine is supposed to do is to, if you do get it, it has significant. The effects are significantly less.
Right.
But what does that mean for protocol? Like, what does that mean for the NBA? What does that mean for this particular situation? And we don't have answers. So maybe it's something that the league and Chris Paul are working through. Maybe LeBron James is making a call. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I don't imagine it really matters until the Clippers win, or if the Clippers win in game 7 or 6, or whenever that season or whenever that series ends. And I'm guessing the NBA is just kind of crossing their fingers like, hey, let's go Utah. Give us one more. Let's stretch this, because the longer that series goes, the less the NBA really has to address this.
Yeah.
If the series ends tomorrow, got some questions. Got some questions we're going to need answered. Like, is Chris Paul really missing the first 2 games, as has been suggested? Is he really missing the first 2 games of the series, the Western Conference Finals? Sorry, I got thrown off because I just saw one of Josiah Johnson's gifs, and it made me laugh. He's the king of everything NBA and tying the perfect video. So the caption is Rick Carlisle steps down as Mavs coach, and then Brad Stevens, and the gif for Brad Stevens is Diane from Blackish winning the award when she stands up like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. That caught me. He's one of the greatest Twitter followers, or one of the greatest Twitter follows ever.
He kills it. He kills it with those clips.
Like, I hope he gets paid to do this. Like, I hope he is just sitting in his computer waiting for news going, what's the perfect video for this? What is the perfect reaction? Okay, fine. Great. I hope he is very, very well paid. I just retweeted it so you could see it. I hope he is very well paid at Yahoo.
He's the king.
Yep.
He's the king of all this. And he actually got the king to respond to him one time.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I saw that.
So
as I just threw us off track there.
No. But yeah, I think to your original point, NBA definitely wants this Clippers Jazz thing to go 7. I'm not sitting here saying there's going to be a Donaghy situation tomorrow night at the Staples Center. I'm just saying I think they wanted to go 7. I think the Clippers are going to win tomorrow.
You think so? Okay. We talked about tonight's game, being a defining moment for the Bucks. That's a defining moment for the Clippers. We focused on Paul George because that's what we do, legacies and blah, 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 killing narratives. This is huge for the Clippers organization because you can kill that narrative as well. We gave you the 0-8 stat with a chance to move to the conference finals earlier. This is huge for the entire organization. I believe that it is a career rewriter, especially with Kawhi Leonard out. But, man, this is massive for the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah, man. The first Western Conference Finals, franchise history. And for them to be able to do that without a Kawhi, that's huge for Ty Lue. That's huge for Paul George. I mean, a defining moment. I'm not going to go so far as to say that Ty Lue, this will replace the championship or nothing like that in 2016. I'm not saying that, but it would get guys like myself to be like, all right, man, we got to give Ty Lue his flowers. You know what I'm saying? He got this team to the conference finals in he was down, if they finished this off, it would have been down 0-2 in the first 2 series. And
which is so crazy.
Yeah. He brought him back. Matter of fact, no,
KC, but why did he go down 0-2 though?
Well, because he up there letting Joe Ingles hit shots and then laughing on the.
I thought you were going to say he's up there playing Terrence Mann 1 minute. That's okay.
Well, hell, maybe
there's a multitude of reasons.
I need my own words because I told you, what the hell is he doing playing 1 minute? Last night he played 26 and they win.
I feel like this segment should just be called "Give Me My Roses." The Barry Horowitz of Sacramento, our very own Kenny Caraway. That's a wrestling reference, by the way, for those who don't get it. Barry Horowitz was a jobber, and he would walk around and he would pat himself on the back. He even got a vest made with a handprint. I'm gonna get Kate. Donnie, if you're listening, dopeones.com. We need a hoodie with a handprint on the back.
Give me my roses.
That symbolizes Kenny getting his. And I need, Donnie made this great hoodie, the rose that grew from concrete. It was like Tupac's face had all these images around it, but the roses were around it. We could just put Kenny's cartoon face on it with all of the roses around it, and then the handprint on the back. Give me my roses.
I'm rocking one.
I know you are. You would absolutely wear your own hoodie. I'm positive. You absolutely would. Do you have a D-Lo and KC shirt that you would wear?
Yeah, I wore it the other day. I haven't like worn it like to brunch or something like that.
You haven't worn it.
Yeah, no. But I was going to where I was like, let me put on my D-Lo and KC shirt. As Mason said, I knock my own stuff like I'm on my own. Whoa.
Hey, can't say that. Can't say that. We got James Ham set to join us coming up in 10 minutes. He'll give us his thoughts on all of the craziness going on in the NBA. We'll talk about the lottery coming up next week. We'll talk about Tyrese Halliburton finishing third as in the Rookie of the Year voting. But first,
Here comes the
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
the Summer of Cash contest rolls along here. You have opportunities 10 minutes past the hour every hour that D'Lo and Casey are on the air Monday through Friday. That's 12 to 4 for those who may not be familiar with us. And your chance to win $1,000 is right now by texting the code word NOTE to 72881. That's NOTE, as in leave Kenny a note to buy himself some roses. NOTE to 72881. This is a multi-state contest. Message and data rates apply. And remember, don't text and drive. No, don't do that. Okay, here's a question for you. With the Bucks and the Nets tonight, who was more damaged by their Game 5 loss? The Bucks and the KD performance, or the 76ers and that 26-point collapse and that disastrous second half?
I might say that it is probably the Sixers. The Sixers were up 26 at the crib later in the game. And I don't think any players are going anywhere. A coach might lose his job in Milwaukee. But multiple players might be up out of there in Philadelphia. The process will be dead. The process will be blown up if they can't come back and win this. And I'm going to say this. I said it earlier. Even if they come back and win this series, I still think Ben Simmons is gone.
Okay.
I think they can get to these finals and still Daryl Morey probably saw it like, yeah, no.
Can he redeem himself? Because this poll and I know, like, you know, one of the running bits is you have this thing with Ben Simmons. This postseason for Ben Simmons feels like the point of no return.
Yeah,
like this has been like an expose of Watergate levels. Like, nope, we were wrong. This ain't it.
It ain't happening. And now he can have a good game, but I think he is who he is. I don't think that's going to change. One time, the only time I remember Ben Simmons like maybe shutting me up about him is he was terrible like in the game 2 against the Nets a couple years ago in the playoffs, and then came out in game 3. They were putting wanted signs on telephone poles in Brooklyn of Ben Simmons.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. Yeah.
And
yeah.
Like 25 and 11 or something like he balled out that night.
I remember that.
Time it's ever happened. Any other time people have been critical and said he's not going to do this, he's never answered the bell. So, I mean, I think this is who he is.
You know who did answer the bell? The figurative bell. James Ham. He's set to join us. We'll talk Kings. We'll talk NBA. We'll just hang out and pontificate. James Ham joins us next here on Sacramento's home for real Kings coverage, ESPN 1320.
Did they win? Did they win?
Probably should have told Danny I was going to invent a new slogan on the fly.
Real Kings guy. That cracks me up every time.
Here comes the money. Money. Are we, I don't know that you can tell this early. Are we 55 today? Okay.
Kid Cotton, man. C.K. McClatchy High School in the building. Home of the Lions. Wow.
Okay.
Just a reminder to everybody out there, no post show today. Moves have to be made.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Tony.
That's all right, Tony. That's all right. That's all good, baby.
Tony looked familiar. You from Sac, Tony? Well, hey, Ace. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know nothing. He just speaking facts. That's all that's going on, man. They ain't just speaking facts. I don't know nothing about no shots, nothing like that. It's just
what I say. What you mean? Ain't no shots fired. Like it's the truth. It's the truth. Break.
I saw. Was it John? Yeah, it was John with the back and forth yesterday. Yeah. I saw.
Yes, it was John. It's always John. The answer is it's always John. It's always John. Oh, John.
Damn.
Welcome to the show. Welcome. Yes,
yeah.
We are. We very much are.
On the same page. For,
this is legit. Tony,
bias.
This is legit my favorite thing ever. One of them. He had me mad for real. I love that. Hey, working on it. Working on it, Rocky.
Rocky, you know.
Working on it.
Hey, you see it? Wait, where we at? You see this flag? They're gonna be all over the place up in here.
We working on it, man.
All over the place up in here. Woo. Woo.
Yeah, every hour, Tyler. Every hour. Sorry, no, wrong. Every hour, 12 to 4. Every hour, 12 to 4. I think some of our other family, they do it. They could do it longer, but for us, we just do 12 to 4. By the way, we've got the game tonight. Damn it, I got to mention that.
Who you talking to, Tony? Nah, I ain't mean it like that. I'm just saying.
Because you said it like that.
No, I'm trying to figure out the combo.
A quick little reminder here, and perhaps it's not a reminder for some of you. Perhaps it's like full-on notice. We've been talking about this Bucks-Nets game tonight. If you got stuff to do, don't worry. We got you. Get that game right here on ESPN 1320.
Absolutely. This one you want to, if you can, you want to be here to check out.
Oh, yeah.
Bucks Nets. Absolutely.
Yeah, you want to be in on this. As you want to be in on this conversation here, our man, James Ham. James, great to hear from you, buddy, man. Thanks for making time for us. What's happening?
No, not a whole lot, guys. What's going on?
Yeah, it's been a pretty quiet couple of days, huh?
Yeah, the NBA is a giant dumpster fire. Yeah, good stuff.
That's facts. Let it burn. Let's start with the tease I put out there because, of course, Rick Carlisle walks away from the job in Dallas, and immediately one of us, won't say which one, but one of us said, yo, Monty, do it. And then you said, hey, I'm going to come on the show today. Great. And I'm going to tell you why it's not happening. It's actually quite simple, and I should have thought of this before one of us, not necessarily me, open their big mouth. Why won't Rick Carlisle consider Sacramento?
Yeah, so Rick Carlisle has been the head of the coaching association in the NBA for 15 years. And he has a strong belief that you don't petition for other people's jobs. And the Kings have someone in place. And if they didn't have someone in place, whether he would be interested in this job or not is a huge question mark. I'm going to say he probably wouldn't because the last time we heard from him about Sacramento was when the Kings unceremoniously fired Michael Malone on December 15th, 2014.
But who's counting?
And yeah, and he was not happy about that at all. And I'm gonna assume that he remembers those things. So yeah, I mean, Carlisle is an outstanding coach. He's a guy that can take a team to the next level. He's probably the best or the second best X's and O's coach in the league. And you kind of saw this coming with the way things are unraveling in Dallas, but it's a crazy situation. I just don't think that there's any way that there's a good fit in Sacramento, and there's a ton of good coaches available out of nowhere. Again, do any of them fit what the Kings were looking for? I don't know if they do. I mean, I don't know if you want to go all Stan Van Gundy or, Scotty Brooks was an interim coach for the Kings for a short burst. But yeah, there's a ton of coaches available right now.
So, James, let's what do they say? Put the rat on the table or whatever the case may be. Let's dissect this thing a little bit.
I hope that's not a saying, but okay.
I haven't heard that one.
I hope not.
Go ahead.
Put the rat on the table.
I mean, why?
I don't know. I don't like rats. I'm just telling you what they saying. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's talk about this.
There you go.
How about that? What are the chances of Monty McNair coming out, I don't know, Monday morning and be like, you know what, we changed our mind. We're going in a different direction here. Luke, we're moving on from him, and we're going to open up the coaching search.
Yeah, I mean, again, I am the guy who reported that DeMarcus Cousins was signing a $220 million extension and then watching him traded 2 weeks later.
We mentioned that today.
So, I mean, let's be honest, nothing is ever a sure bet, but I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. At this point, I think the Kings are kind of pot committed. Plus, look, if you're jumping in right now, what would you be, the 7th team right now without a head coach? And I don't know that we're done here. Like, there's still coaches, at least a coach or two, that could get let go between now and the end of this season. And I mean, we don't even know if Nate McMillan will be back in Atlanta for another year. So I mean, where do the Kings rank? Like, if you're a
second to last,
a coaching prospect, and you're like, hey, I would like to. I mean, so it's not like the Kings are going to jump in and go get one of these guys. And remember, like, Stan Van Gundy is a guy who came to Sacramento, went through his entire job interview, took the contract offer that he was offered by the Kings, ran to Kinko's in downtown Sacramento, had a contract faxed to him from the Orlando Magic, signed that and faxed it back while he was still in Sacramento, and took that job instead of the Sacramento Kings job. So, I mean, Scotty Brooks is a local guy, so maybe there's something there, but I think you can jump back in next offseason and be in a better position than now when 7 new head coaches or 6 new head coaches are in place. And so I think that if you do need to make a change after this year, you're probably in a better standing with all of these teams already having a coach that they just hired.
Yeah. Real quick, Damien, real quick.
Yeah.
Putting a dead rat on the table means talking about the uncomfortable things, the things nobody wants to hear, but what everybody needs to hear. Thank you.
All right. Well, throw the rat on the table then. Let's knock it out.
I now feel like Bogdan Bogdanovic when Sean Cunningham asked him if things snowballed, and he looked at him like, snowball? What does that mean? And we had to explain the snowball. He's like, oh, okay.
Well, next year you can. All right, Bogey, we're gonna put the dead rat on the table here and just see what his response is. James Ham with us here on D-Lo and Casey. I have my fun about Luke Walton, moving on from Luke Walton and all of that stuff when coaches become available. But your point is valid, and we've talked about it here before. You can't end it. You're way behind in this race. If you had fired Luke Walton, if the message to James Ham had been the Sacramento Kings are moving on from Luke Walton, then we're in an entirely different situation because, and I don't imagine anybody reacting to the Kings. James, you're weeks ahead of everybody else. Like Terry Stotts, Brad Stevens, all of that stuff didn't happen for weeks after the regular season was over.
Yeah, man,
you're just way behind.
there are some outstanding coaches that are available right now. But you know what? There might be some outstanding coaches available next summer too, if this doesn't work out.
And hopefully we won't need them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what people need to like. You need to hope that this does work out, because the one thing about Carlisle, 13 years there in Dallas, tons of success. You look at Popovich, you look at Eric Spoelstra. Like, what you want is continuity. What are we, like, the fifth coach or sixth coach, like, with longest tenure now is like James Borrego was hired in like 2018. I mean, this is just crazy. All the coaching turnover, and you know, a lot of these guys are just going to get sort of churned up and they'll end up in another spot. But like, I just don't know. I mean, where do you put all of these great coaches that are available? And the answer is some of them aren't going to get jobs. You know, will Dave Yeager get a job after his run here in Philadelphia? Is there, because he's going to get mentioned for a bunch of these jobs too. There are some really good coaches that are available.
And James, I mean, the way that I've said it, and I think Damian is kind of on the same page with me with this, is it really, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but there's one goal for this franchise next year, and that's to make the playoffs. So whether it's Luke here or you bring Rick and anybody else, and the goal stays the same. I don't really care who gets them there. The goal is still the goal, and it has to be executed next year or its changes will be made. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. Like, I don't care who gets it done. It just needs to get done. That's really what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like, Luke Walton should have gotten one more year to try to figure this thing out. In normal situation, you know, I'm okay with 2 years, but this hasn't been normal. I mean, like, we've played 2 72-game seasons, and the NBA plays 82. So, I mean, we're in the middle of a global pandemic that's starting to sort of wane, but maybe not, and we'll have to see how it goes. But at the same time, like, he has not had a normal offseason yet, and you know, he hasn't had a normal regular season yet. So at the end of the day, if you're gonna stick with him, you know, you got to give him that third year and see how it works out. And look, maybe he does turn things around. Maybe it totally works out, and he's the guy. And you know, everyone stops going crazy about him, and you know, 5 years from now, we're, you know, looking at the 8-year run of Luke Walton and seeing how deep he's got you into the playoffs.
That's crazy to think about.
Pandemic starting to wane.
I don't know if it is or not. I mean, certainly the people wearing masks are at this point. So
the pandemic starting to wane. In other news, Chris Paul will likely miss the start of the Western Conference Finals. No, we'll get to that note in just a minute. Rex Kalamian's out though, and Bobby Jackson has other duties. Are those roles going to be filled? I assume they are.
Yeah, they already moved somebody up into Bobby Jackson's role. I know that. For the life of me, I'm not remembering the name at this point. But Rex Kalamian. Now, I keep hearing that it's not a done deal, like that he hasn't already left Sacramento. And, you know, let's be honest, he's been a really good assistant coach wherever he's been in the past. This Kings season just seems to be an anomaly when it comes to his defensive coaching ability. And, you know, so I don't think that we should fully indict Rex Kalamian on what happened here this year. But, I mean, he has to take some of the blame at some point. Somebody does. And so I don't know. From what I know, that isn't like a completely a done deal, and that's why I haven't written on it much, just because, you know, what I'm hearing is, well, let's wait this thing out a little bit.
Yeah. What you did right on, though, James, is a little positive, a little hope, a little rabbit's foot. You guys heard of a rabbit's foot, right?
Yeah.
You guys heard of that. All right.
We heard that one.
About, you know, the ping pong balls, man, the lottery's next week. So, like, what was your thoughts about, you know, possibly a little more luck, maybe lightning will strike twice within 10 years or 5 years or whatever the case may be, and they can move up in the draft?
Yeah, it would be the third time, actually. You know, so after not moving up forever, they moved up to, in what was it, the 88 or 89 draft when they got Purvis Ellison. That was
legend.
Possibly the worst draft in the history of the NBA. It just wasn't a good draft, especially the top 10. It just wasn't great. But outside of that, they had never really moved up at all. I mean, even like when they got Billy Owens with the third pick, and then he wouldn't sign, they traded him for Mitch Richmond. They were supposed to be the third pick that year, so they didn't move up. So this is they moved up from 8 to 3 and then back to 5 with De'Aaron Fox. And then I think they moved up from either 7 or 8 to 2 in the Marvin Bagley, Luka Doncic, Trae Young draft. So yeah, they need something though here. So basically, when you look at this draft, it's so top heavy. I mean, the top 5 are all extremely, extremely good, and they all have, either superstar or all-star potential. I'll go on record saying that now. I think all of them are going to be really good. Someone might be a bust out of that group, but I don't think so. But then 6 through 12, they're almost interchangeable. So it's going to depend on who falls in love with who. A guy like Davion Mitchell might go way higher than people thought like a month and a half ago. He looks like he's climbing into the top that 6 through 12 range, guys like Scotty Barnes, Moses Moody. So if the Kings are sitting there at 9, they're in a good spot, but it's not a great value spot to go trade. That's sort of my point. If you move up into the top 4, and what do they have, like a 4.5, 4.8, 5.2, 5.5, of landing 1, 2, 3, or 4. So it's something like 20.3% chance of moving into the top 4. That pick has tremendous value. Not only can you draft a cornerstone potentially, but on top of that, if you do want to trade it for sort of like the instant gratification thing here, you can go out and land a really nice, 25-year-old guy on his second NBA contract that is either all-star or right on the cusp of all-star potential. I mean, that's how much this draft has potential for. And so it's a big deal. I mean, like the Golden State Warriors, I mean, could they be in a stranger position? They said it's 6. If it goes 1, 2, or 3, the pick goes back to Minnesota. If it lands 4, they get a star or the ability to go trade for somebody huge. But then again, they're in the same position. If they land at 6 or 7, there's really all kinds of interchangeable pieces there. I don't see any of the top 5 dropping out of the top 5. And so that barrier at number 6 is kind of where it breaks off. And I think that the Kings will be aggressive. I think they will look to trade this pick if it is at 9. And even if they move up into that top, if you got number 1 or number 2, you're not going anywhere at all. But your number 3 and number 4, you probably consider it if you can get yourself a bona fide young star that's already, showing.
But
where
who is
he's
that?
Going.
Who is that play? Like Kenny and I have been, we've thrown out all of the different names. We talked to Sabonis about you. The Siakam situation certainly has a different feel to it now. But who is that player though?
Man, I don't know. You're going to have to go through
Ben Simmons.
Yeah. I mean, Ben Simmons is going to come up time and time again, but I mean, is it going to take a top 4 pick in this year's draft to get Ben Simmons?
Might not.
I don't think so.
You could take a top 10 pick, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
top 10 pick for him.
I think most people would. I mean, he's owed like $33 million next season, so his salary jumps. So in order to get him, you're going to have to do something crazy like number 9, Buddy Hield, and something else, just to make salaries and everything.
You want him is like I almost said Ben Simmons is a joke, because we've obviously talked a lot about Ben Simmons, as it feels like this whole postseason has been an indictment of him. But I'd be interested to get your thoughts on him as a player, and perhaps Tobias Harris, because we're ready to burn Philadelphia to the ground if they lose Game 6.
Yeah, see, Tobias Harris is the really interesting one for me because the Kings' previous regimes have valued him extremely high. As far as what this group thinks that Tobias is probably not as high. I'll say that I had a scout years ago tell me about Harris. He's a really good player, but he's kind of like Rudy Gay in that he's never really made anyone around him considerably better. And so there's always going to be a cap as to where you think he can take a team, especially when he's making 30-something million a year. If he was making, Buddy Hield money, if he's making 25, that's a whole nother story. I'd be all over him. But if you're leading scorer, you're leading, if he's that guy for you, I'm not sure that he's the right fit. So, but again, Ben Simmons to me, I mean, he's an all defensive player. He can pass, he can rebound, he can defend 1 through 5. He's really intriguing. The fact that he can't shoot free throws is stunning, but I kind of feel like it's a little bit of the Nick Anderson yips thing. And then like the 3-point shooting is one area where I would be extremely concerned if I were the Kings, because if you bring a guy like that in, then he has to have nothing but shooters all around him. Mm-hmm. And I think the Kings have, you're going to probably start Halliburton next year. You're going to start Harrison Barnes next year. But outside of that, Fox is an okay 3-point shooter. He's much better as a catch and shoot player. So that might help improve his 3-point percentage. But, if you have Rashawn Holmes back, would that work? Rashawn Holmes and Ben Simmons in the same starting lineup. And that's really tough, especially when you add in Fox being, around 33% career 3-point shooter. So I like him. He's young. He's athletic. He can do a lot of things. But there are some major question marks to him. You just have to figure out a way to use him correctly. I'll say this. The Golden State Warriors have centered their entire franchise around like the greatest shooter in the history of the game, but also Draymond Green has just been incredible for them. And if you can use a guy like Ben Simmons in the way that they use Draymond Green, it doesn't really matter what you're paying him. He's going to make a huge impact for your team as a defensive catalyst and a secondary ball handler that can really do a lot of things.
Yeah, James, I'm not sold on Ben Simmons. I'm not sold, especially for that price point. But
it's a lot.
Here's the thing about Simmons and other guys or whatever, and I'm all for trading that pick and going to get a guy. But I look around the league, and things can happen anytime. Nobody knew James Harden was available till he was. Nobody knew Kyrie was available till he was. But I don't see anybody outside of maybe a Sabonis, maybe, that would be worth giving up a top 10 pick for. So do you feel like this team they were all for like, hey, we're ready to move on from this pick, but then they kind of looked around, or we don't know, but we don't even know what pick they have, but kind of looking around, in your opinion, and be like, would I give up my top 10 for Tobias Harris? Would I give up my top 10 for Miles Turner? I don't know. Do you think that while they're willing to do it, the pickings are kind of slim for what's out there for them right now?
Yeah, I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I would trade a top 10 pick as long as, I'm not trading a top 5 pick or top 4 pick in this draft because the Kings don't have the option to get that 5th pick. I would certainly listen to just about every, like a guy like Miles Turner, like that's a guy that you kind of pencil, you put a circle around, you're like, okay, does he fit? He can shoot the 3 ball, although it wasn't great this year. He's not a great rebounder, so that's an issue. Average 3.5 blocks a game, so that's huge. Can he play with a guy like De'Aaron Fox? And I think the answer is probably yes. Can he play with a guy like Rashawn Holmes as your 4? I think probably yes. You have a shot blocker. They, together they might be really good rebounding combo. One guy can shoot from the outside, the other guy can shoot, in the pick and roll game. So like maybe that works. But I think when you're looking at trying to get back to the playoffs, and not just trying to get to the playoffs, but like I heard Harrison Barnes talk about this the other day, and it's something that, the Kings talk about quite a bit, and Doug Christie talks about quite a bit. It's not good enough to just make the playoffs and say, look, we got in and then we got lambasted. Or you sneak in as the 10th and you get a play-in game. That's not enough. Even if you get to the first round, you get rolled by a number 1 seed. That's, you want something that's sustainable here. That's not just one time we made it. So you're circling guys that again are, around 24, 25, 26, or maybe have 3 years left on that second contract. And so, they're going to be there a long time. And then you say, can they work with me long-term? And if I'm looking at another guy at number 9, and there's a bunch of 18 and 19-year-old guys who knows what they're going to be, you're hoping that they'll develop, but there's a good chance that they won't because nothing is guaranteed in the top 10. Or you look at a guy like Corey Kispert and say, I'm just going to go with a veteran guy who I know can shoot it, and at least he has one elite skill, and I can put him on the court, and he does that one good thing. So I just think that number 9, there's no guarantee that it's going to be any good at all, that it's going to be an NBA player. And there's no guarantee that you'll know if it's going to be a good player for 2 years or 3 years. And so it's really hard to keep drafting in the top. You got a couple of young guys you can build around. You kind of wish that Marvin Bagley was part of that young core that you could build around, but you have question marks there. And I just think that the Kings are in slightly strange situation where they might be able to go get somebody that makes an immediate impact, even if it costs this year first round pick, a player like Marvin or a player like Buddy, and then a 2023 first round pick. I mean, if you got to swing for the fences to turn this thing around and sort of build, you've built a strong culture, but the culture of winning still hasn't set in. So while there's not a negative culture, it's also not a positive culture where everyone's on the same page moving on to the next round of the playoff type deal. So I think there's a lot of work to be done here, but the better the pick, the more valuable it is at this point, and maybe the more you can get for it.
Kings insider James Ham with us here on Dealing with Casey on ESPN 1320. Tyrese Halliburton finished third in Rookie of the Year voting. A lot of the times when Casey and I talk about potential trade proposals, we often wind up with guys in the backcourt. But this team feels like the two pillars we're building everything. Like it's De'Aaron and it's Tyrese moving forward. Those are our guys, and we build around those two. Is that an accurate assumption?
That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
I mean, like everything that I know of this team so far. And, I think we talked about this once before. Like you add DeLon Wright and you add Terrence Davis in the backcourt. That's four guys who are going to eat considerable minutes. So that does like free you up to maybe do something with Buddy. But, a guy like Harrison Barnes, I think he's part of the core. Like he's only 28 years old. He's probably one of the top 5 off the court guys in the league, that you've depended on for all kinds of things if you're this franchise, and then outside of that, you don't know what's going to happen with Marvin, and you certainly don't know what's going to happen with Rashawn Holmes in free agency. So like my core is really that backcourt, and you want to call it 2 players, you want to call it 4 players. I'll just say for next season, you already know you've got 4 there. And now, like, how do I build out the rest of this team? So I think even in the first round there, you're going to look at a bunch of guys, but like guys like Moses Moody or Scotty Barnes, if they fall to you, those are nice pieces to have, or they're probably a little bit further away than what you would like. For me, my dark horse guy is, I'm going to keep saying his name, is Josh Giddey, the kid out of Australia, who to me just looks, he's a 6'8", 6'9" point guard, but I'd put him at the small forward, averaging almost a triple-double a game as an 18-year-old in a professional league. He looks like a stud, high basketball IQ player. I think that's what you need. You need more high basketball IQ players, guys that are versatile, that can play defense and can play some offense. But I think we're going to have to see if what's available, because there isn't a center in that range in this draft at all, in my opinion. Like after Evan Mobley, there's nothing until you get into the mid to late teens that I would even consider, and nothing that's going to help you tomorrow. They're all prospects. And so, yeah, that's why I look at that number 9. I'm like, okay, you might be able to get a 3-and-D guy. You might be able to get a guy with upside. But can you get a franchise changer? Can you get a real position of need? There's no stretch 4 in that area. There are some good shooters, but there isn't like one guy that you just go, okay, we got to have this guy. If you're the Kings.
Yeah. Tyrese Halliburton, we talking about him right now, finishes third in Rookie of the Year voting, like Damian talked about. A fair finish for him, third. I know there's some people, I don't agree with it necessarily, but like he should have been Rookie of the Year, or he should have been second or something like that. I think third is about good for Tyrese's rookie season. What you think?
Yeah, if he would have finished out the season, those last 8 games, and put up some big numbers there like he was before he got hurt, I think he would have probably ended up second, and he would have had an opportunity, especially if the Kings had somehow made it. But overall, I mean, he had a really good year. And if you're not coming in first, I don't think we really need to worry about what you're coming in at that point. I do know that when they played against Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man tore them up once or twice. So to me, that does have an impact. When they played against LaMelo, I thought it was a pretty fair battle there, back and forth. But I honestly, I think LaMelo deserved it. He really was like a next level talent. I was surprised how good he played this year. You have to kind of worry that he's gonna cap out at some point just because of his lack of ability to shoot and or his unorthodox style and all that stuff. I think the league will adjust slightly to him. But overall, yeah, I think third is probably right for Tyrese, and let it be fuel. Let it be fuel like he says it is for the 11 teams that passed on him in the draft. And I'll keep saying this too, man. How good would he look on the Phoenix Suns right now, like as their third, fourth guard? I mean, just crazy. What a huge miss that was at number 10 last year.
Well, in my head, this is where I was going. So speaking of missed opportunities, I'm sure you read the Luka Doncic article in The Athletic the other day. Well, that seemed to be the catalyst for, I guess it was the catalyst behind the Donnie Nelson stuff and now the Rick Carlisle stuff. At first, it felt like a gossip column. Now, all of a sudden, it feels like a prophecy. Like, what is going on in Dallas right now? What is your feel for that?
It's a hot mess, man. I think that's a lot of times this happens, though. I mean, Rick Carlisle, like, again, we talked about him early, but I love him as a coach. But at the same time, like, he's never got along with point guards at all. I mean, him and Darren Collison didn't get along. You see DeLon Wright took a shot at those guys when they got bounced, if I'm not mistaken. Like, this is like, I guess he's not so much a player's coach as he is a really good coach. And then at a certain point, you do have to hold people accountable. Like, you knew what you had in Luka Doncic for the last 2.5 seasons. It took like 5 minutes to figure out how good he was. Like, build the team around him. Like, what were they doing? They haven't built the team around him at all. I mean, he needs shooters. He needs guys. And then you go out and you trade Seth Curry for Josh Richardson. There are moves there that happen time and time again where you're just like, man, I don't get it. So at a certain point, I think, Donnie Nelson is a guy who drafted Luka, who moved up to get Luka. So you have to give him a huge amount of credit. He's also the guy who built like championship team there. So there's a lot of good that happened there. But eventually, guys make mistakes, and I don't think it's complacency, but like I've said this before, look at Jeff Petrie's last handful of years in Sacramento. He was cash strapped for sure. But at the same time, there were just like some not good moves, some moves that, paying Chuck Hayes a bunch of money. Like, Chuck Hayes is a good guy, but they gave him a bunch of money. Guys like Francisco Garcia got a huge contract as a signee. They paid Sharif Abdul-Rahim a huge amount of money, well, mid-level exemption money, but a good amount of money when, he basically had failed a physical in New Jersey, I think, at the time with the Nets. So, like, guys eventually, like, I don't think they get fully stale or something, but you have to be on top of your game at all times, and you can't make mistakes and take steps back when you have a player like Luka. And I think the one thing I would be concerned with is that the only man left standing is Luka, and what does that tell you? Because Carlisle and Donnie Nelson were there forever. And he just outlasted those guys after year 3. And to me, that's a little unsettling, because how many more times can he do that? And, you don't want him to become a coach killer and be known as that. So, just wiped out one of the best coaching GM tandems in the league for the last decade. So I think we're going to have to see how it all plays out in the end.
Luka said, "Look at me. I'm the captain now."
That's right.
But real quick, James. So when we talk to you again, it's the conference finals will be set. What do you think it's looking like, man? What are the conference finals we'll be talking about next week?
Man, I don't know. Like, are the Clippers going to make it happen? It's very possible. I don't know. Like, it's a weird year. I'm disappointed in the 76ers. I'm really happy for Bogdanovic, like, getting to the cusp there. I just think if nothing else, I'll say this. I think that the league itself loves when when the Knicks are good, clearly, but they love the Lakers. They love these big name teams, right? These big major markets. I think what we're seeing right here is probably the best thing that has happened for the league, because it's opened up the possibility that a major market will not be the champion. That small market teams, whether it's, again, Milwaukee, they look like they might flame out here, but like these other guys, the Brooklyn Nets are like the ugly stepchild, even though they've been so much better than the Knicks for a while. They're sort of like an underappreciated team that's been floating around the league forever, since, they haven't really done anything since like the Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, Vince Carter years. So you're kind of looking at like, hey, maybe it's better that we have small market teams, maybe that can get in there. And I know, again, like you could look at the Clippers the same way as you can look at the Nets. They've always kind of been the little brother of the team, the major team in their market. Maybe it is good for all of these things to kind of break it up and give some other franchises, some other, communities around the NBA a shot at some good stuff, some, championship stuff.
Yeah.
James Ham, jumping on with us unscheduled, man. We appreciate it. Thanks for making time for us and hanging out. It's obviously been a busy couple of days. So, God, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow?
I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm getting an MRI tomorrow. So, yeah.
Oh, hold on. What's going on?
That's why James Ham wasn't with us yesterday.
Yeah, I've had back problems for a long time, and I think I have I'm pretty sure it's a herniated disc at this point, but some other situations going on as well. So limping around a little bit here, folks.
Take care of that.
He herniated the disc 700 square feet into the 1,800 square feet addition. So this is a gamer right here. James Ham worked through it.
Wow.
Yeah, I wish that it was the work that did the back end. It's sitting and writing all day long. It is. It's sitting in the car. It's sitting writing. I've done some bad work to my low back. So
awesome for two guys who sit down and do a radio show for 4 hours. It's
right?
a great public service announcement from James Ham right there. Ham, we appreciate you. Thanks as always, my man.
James.
Great stuff from James Ham, obviously on a very busy couple of days here, and great thoughts on the Kings as well as we head into the lottery next week. A tradition unlike any other.
Maybe this is the last time in a couple years, man.
And it better be. Maybe we went from it better be to maybe. No, it is. This is it. I'm
being cautious. Ain't that what Mo always tells me to do? Oh, your optimism, Kenny. It's so funny. I'm just trying to be cautious here. You know how I feel. Heads are going to be rolling.
Michael Jackson's last tour. That never happened. This is it. No more lottery. If we're talking about the lottery, next year, all sorts of crap has gone wrong. Wow. Speaking of all sorts of crap going wrong, the Diamondbacks have now lost more consecutive road games than any other team in Major League Baseball history, which means your San Francisco Giants have grabbed another victory, and the Giants have swept the Arizona Diamondbacks, as we said they absolutely must.
And they did. This sweeping of the Diamondbacks includes them being down 13-3, I think, yesterday, but also being up 7-0 2 days ago and losing that game. I mean, that's pathetic.
Yeah, that's accurate. And so that's 13. That's what was it? 23 straight road games. But how many games in a row period is that? Is it 13?
It might be 13. To be honest with
Probably
you,
doesn't even matter at this point.
I remember at one point they were on like a 12-game losing streak. They might have lost like something like 22 or 25 at this point.
Who in the NBA did that?
The Rockets.
Was it the Rockets or was it Oklahoma City?
Yeah,
Oklahoma City did it.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, they've lost 14 straight.
I'll say this: it seems like the Diamondbacks are dying, so the Suns can live.
Pontificating with Kenny Caraway. I mean, you're not wrong,
guys.
I think the diehard fans of the Phoenix Suns will take it.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, thank you.
crazy fan base for Phoenix. It's always a movie when you talk about Phoenix. Oh, before we get out of here, Utah can no longer be a movie. You see that man falling asleep at the game?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
And I love that the camera got a close-up shot of it, like full-on falling asleep. Hopefully you didn't fall asleep during this show. We had a lot of fun. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe before you leave. Hit the thumbs up before you leave as well. We appreciate you so much for being with us. We're going to have some fun tomorrow as well, and we're going to have 4 more opportunities for you to win $1,000. That's all coming up tomorrow here with D'Lo and KC on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320.
Holla.
All right. Love y'all, but for real, going.
Yes, indeed.
I am race caring to Roseville. Wish your boy luck. We'll see you tomorrow. Love y'all. Thanks for being in there so deep today.